All right. I know it's morning, it's afternoon, or in some places. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Afrique 24-hour TV. And if you're joining me for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, ensure that you start by subscribing to our channel, that is Afrique 24-hour. And you can also join as a member of Afrique 24-hour TV. So this wonderful morning. uh, I'm grateful that I'm fair enough to people from different parts of the world. There are those ones who are waking up, and there are those ones who are maybe getting back home from their normal duties. So, top of the stories, I know you guys are most of you are shocked. Uh, Most Kenyans had expected that the agriculture sector that is going to be impeached, but that one did not. The impeachment did not see the day of the light as seven out of 11 members of the select committee are recommended that the impeachment motion wasn't substantiated. So in that manner, that Linturi remains to be the CS agriculture, unless the president now use the power back to him by the constitution and give him duties. But the parliament wasn't able to do that. Something that has really caused a lot of controversy. There have been claims of bribery, and I'll show you this one data from the mover of the motion who claimed that there is how money exchange hands to ensure that CS wasn't sent home or CS wasn't sent quickly. So that is Kenya for you. If you are really waiting for something to happen, I think this would have been the first impeachment of a secretary since 2010. Constitution was promulgated for the first time that an impeachment motion was being brought before the National Assembly to discuss the conduct of cabinet secretary and to initiate an impeachment process that did not see the day of the light. But uh, all in all, we remain to be Kenyans, but this one doesn't confirm that Linturi is innocent. There have been a lot of accusations from the person who brought the proposal. Of course, I'll play for you that one later. And in Parliament yesterday, it was fireworks as the members who believed that Linturi to be held responsible uh, countered the ones who did not believe so. So what we're asking today is that is it that Linturi uh, is innocent or should not take responsibility, or it is just a matter of the politics tyranny. Yeah? You know, we have the politics of tyranny whereby people talk of tyranny of numbers. If you are majority, uh, you don't care what you do, you don't care what happens. What matters is that you will always have your way. As a minority, will always have their say. So this is what we experienced. I just want to play you a video from one some of the activities that were taking place in the Senate, and of course you'll be able to listen to some members of parliament who are opposed to this. So karibu sana. You can see Goodyear. That is the member number 001 is already there. So Goodyear, karibu sana. It's great seeing you at this particular moment. And there's a lot of things that we're going to look at. Apart from looking at the CS Linturi's impeachment, we're also going to look at the Finance Bill 2024, which is claimed to be one that is going to overburden the citizen more than the Finance Bill, which is currently the Finance Act 2023. There are some proposals that have been made by the we call it the treasury or the executive, and they're supposed to be tabled in parliament for discussion. And your guess is as good as mine, because majority of the ones who are in the parliament or in the National Assembly are representing the majority there are representing the executive. So there's a higher
But the truth of the matter is, how much she's working and earning, much
Sorry. No, black, it is not a matter of internet. The internet is there. The problem is the Kenya Powerless, and it's called the Kenya Powerless and Darkness Company. Sorry for that, but even in the darkness, we'll still be able to do it. So I'm having, of course, internet. I have some, how do you call it? I'm having a a mobile MiFi that can allow me to operate wherever I am. So the problem is Kenya Power, not the internet. Of course, my internet is fully, like you see right now. I've just changed from the Wi-Fi to the pocket one. So sorry, it's okay. I hope all will be well. I hope they can. Thank you so much. They've restored it. So Black, right? Thank you. I can see you're saying finally. This is a discussion that I want us to have, even if we'll take the entire day discussing this. I think I'll share the link on the comment section, and from that we'll be able to proceed. Sorry for that interruption that happened. It was beyond me. We are having one of the most incompetent department in the Kenya Power right now. So, but I'm glad. I think I don't know if they were testing. I don't know if they were testing me, but I'm glad it is back. I decided that kama haiko would have just proceeded, because when it comes to internet, I don't need the Kenya Power. I can use the pocket, whatever. But the problem would have been light, but it's back. So I was just trying to take you through what happened. There was an impeachment motion that was brought. And in this impeachment motion, there's some claims that have been there. I'll be able to play it to you later, and you'll be able to, like, be the judge. We are Kenyans, we are Africans, and they also say that we're African. Africa is our business. I don't know how Africa is being our business when Kenyans are not getting value for their money. So I just want to get you, before I get you that video where the move of the motion was claiming that there've been some form of bribery and such kind of thing. Allow me just to take you to Parliament so that you can see how things went.
Mr. Speaker,
Your leaders.
Today is a sad day, indeed very sad day for our country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is for sure that this was not the expectations of the Kenyan people today. They expected an indictment because, Mr. Speaker, what happened in this country by supplying fake fertilizer to the public, to Kenyans, Mr. Speaker, is a very grievous matter, Mr. Speaker. And for us to exonerate a cabinet minister who presided over that, Mr. Speaker, is also a very, very sad thing, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have won the battle, but we have lost the war. Why do I say so? Since the inception of, Mr. Speaker, of the new constitution, this is the first time an impeachment of a cabinet minister went through the second stage. After collection of the signature, approval of the speaker, and then it went through the House and went to the committee. I remember in the earlier two parliaments, Mr. Speaker, it never used to go past the tabling of the motion, Mr. Speaker. So we have made a progress, and I want to thank Honorable Wamboka, who remains a hero, Mr. Speaker, in this country, for taking the initiative to save the Kenyan farmers, Mr. Speaker. If you watched, because the proceedings were live on TV, Mr. Speaker, what Honorable Linturi was talking about, instead of telling Kenyans how fake fertilizers found itself in the market, he talked about the famous episode, the soap opera of his love gone bad, Mr. Speaker, with the Honorable Keitani. Mr. Speaker, if we continue like this, then in the national holidays, when people are given honors, Mr. Speaker, we should add corruption as one of the honors that is awarded, Mr. Speaker. Corruption should now become a badge of honor in this country, Mr. Speaker. How can this House preside over a committee report that has turned the wheel of 49 members upside down, Mr. Speaker? And they know very well the mood of the House was that they want the minister impeached. Now, it is now the responsibility of the appointing authority to sack that minister as early as this afternoon, Mr. Speaker. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, if we were in mature democracy, this cabinet secretary will have resigned long time ago, Mr. Speaker. He will not have been in office by now. He should have left the office, and because he has no moral authority to serve Kenyans anymore, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this parliament cannot be used as a rubber stamp, the way I see it happening today. If the fake fertilizer thing has gone the way it is going today, then fake medicine will go through, fake water will go through, fake everything will go through in this country, and the people who are going to suffer in this country, Mr. Speaker, is the Kenyan people, Mr. Speaker. If we were elected, and this is not what the Suna East people today expected, Mr. Speaker. When I saw the constitution of the committee that was done by the majority leader, the
Ichungwa, give him 2 seconds.
Mr. Speaker, when I saw the constitution of the committee that was done by the majority leader, the 7 members from his side, I knew this is an exercise in futility. I knew the matter is dead on arrival. I could see the faces there. I know them. I have been in this corridor. I have been in this parliament long enough. I have operated in this corridor of this parliament. I knew this fait accompli. No report, nothing useful will come out of the committee. Thank you very much. I submit to the Speaker.
Kimani Ichungwa.
That is what I wanted to tell you, how it went to the National Assembly. And of course, that is Junet Mohammed was expressing his fears. And he said that already he knew that this bill was not going through. Yeah, remember when this bill was signed, majority of the members of parliament signed to impeach the cabinet secretary, that is Mintika Linturi. And later on, they decided to form a select committee to go and look into the allegations. And of course, they selected 11 members who, after their deliberation, of course, Kenyans were able to follow this. It was live on television. And of course, even here at Africa, we managed to stream it live. After that, 7 out of 11 were in agreement that these kind of allegations weren't substantiated, while 4 gave some declining, or maybe 4 said that they were not part of that agreement, and they said that Linturi should take responsibility. So in that case, they go with majority, which is called the majority voice. And majority said that Linturi ni mweupe kama pamba, while minority also had their, how do you say, minority also had what is called their report. So you'll find that the majority find that there's power to summon witnesses and all documents, that kind of thing. So the select committee investigating the proposed dismissal from office of Honorable Linthika Mintori as Cabinet Secretary for the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development. I just want to read for you the minority report. The minority report are the ones who did not agree with the majority, the ones who felt that Linturi should have taken responsibility. So in their report, it said that following deliberations on the proceedings of the Select Committee investigating the proposed dismissal from office of Honorable Mithika Linturi as the Cabinet Secretary for the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, 4 members of the committee, namely that was Honorable Robert Mbui, Honorable Catherine Omanyo, I think that is the women rep Busia County, Honorable TJ Kajwang, that is Member of Parliament, Member of Parliament Ruaraka constituency, and Honorable Yusuf Farah, they dissented with the majority opinion on a number of issues, findings, and recommendations. So the 4 members shall be referred to as minority for the purpose of their report, and the 7 members shall be referred to as majority. So the minority aver that their dissent from the minority is based on constitutional principles and are largely informed by the understanding of the appreciation of the role and mandate of the committee. So that is what happened, and the majority will always carry the day. So majority said that, okay, this guy ni mweupe kama pamba. Karibu sana. I can see Mr. Rafik M. Welcome. And Rafik, you know, you already subscribed to Africa. It's just to remind you that right now you can also become a member. That is, you can join Africa as a member. So don't just stop at what is called a subscription, but you can go ahead and become a member. So we are trying to look into, why do you think that CS Linturi, the majority decided to agree with CS Linturi that these kind of allegations are not substantiated? Does it mean that currently the cabinet secretary doesn't have a responsibility. Of course, there's a managerial responsibility and also political responsibility, because he's the head of this department, and any a hinge or any failure in this department, people should call on him. Just like we normally see people calling on people like more common whenever there's even a mere leakage at the airport. So why can't Mintika Linturi take responsibility, or is it the normal tribal politics whereby it's our person, we need to protect him? As long as Susan Nakumicha is still in office, why do we have to impeach Linturi? Some people argue in that way, that you see, Susan Nakumicha was still in office, the doctors were striking, blah, blah, blah. So because Susan Nakumicha is protected, now somebody from the community of Susan Nakumicha is bringing an impeachment motion to impeach somebody from a community. So are we still suffering from such kind of things? I can see Jeffrey Ruto is saying that this channel has let us down. There's a lot that has passed without us putting our opinion, our views into it. Please make this platform available. Jeffrey Ruto, the platform we have been available. Sometimes we also blame, we don't blame the platform. Sometimes there are things that are beyond us, like power outrage. You start a show and in the middle, the power goes off, and maybe you didn't have backup and such kind of things. When we specifically rely on Wi-Fi that uses the electricity, but we are getting ways of ensuring that one doesn't happen. So thank you, thank you, thank you for that. And I would remind you that you can join me. You can join this show, of course, through the link that I'm sharing on the comment section. And apart from that, you can also make use of the comment section and make your views heard. So karibu sana Geoffrey Ruto. You can also join and become a member of Afrique. Geoffrey Ruto, I know you'd not seen that option before, but right now we have that option. So a lot has happened. We need to put, of course, there's this thing that we are going to discuss. I want us to put our minds and have a say on it. The finance bill, or the finance bill 2024, is a bill that most Kenyans, I know people have not gone through it, but we will be getting a copy. Then we'll try to look at each and every maybe section, so that we can be able to see what is good for us and what is not good for us, and also propose some of the recommend some of the things that should be done. I agree with the freak who is sorry, Rafik, not Afrik. Thank you so much. I agree with Rafik, and we're saying that the fish start rotting from the head. So now the fish at the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock have started rotting from the head. But now the head has been acquitted, and they've said that, okay, the head is okay, it is not rotten. So what do you think is going to happen to the tail? That's a question that Kenyans should be asking. So, and apart from that, the question that Kenyans are also asking themselves now that the parliament have said that Linturi is as clean or as white as cotton or meupe kama pamba, is there anything that the citizens can do to ensure that Linturi or the entire ministry is brought maybe to take responsibility of what happened? Because as you heard, it started with the fake fertilizer. You don't know what will happen tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow in the certain ministry, maybe at the Ministry of Health, we are going to have somebody supply fake medicines. Maybe next you're going to see people supplying fake food. Maybe you're going to see people supplying, or maybe some fake, no, things like, it's stuff like that, and people will take advantage. Are we setting a good precedence, or we are setting a negative precedence that is going to hurt the entire country? That's the question that we need to ask ourselves. Are we setting a good precedence, or we are setting a precedence, or we are setting some a precedence that is going to hurt and haunt the entire country? Black is saying that Geoffrey, that's too Black, I get you. You understand. Even yesterday, when we were in the show with you, the power just went like without notice. But I'm working on something. I think from today I'll ensure that I have a backup, that in case this one off, we can always have it. So I think he's saying that history will judge us harshly. There is 13th parliament will be the worst kind. That's a question that we need to ask Rafik. Are we setting a precedent that is going to hurt this country, that maybe people who are going to come in the near future will look and say the 13th parliament is the one that started this? Of course, when this impeachment motion came, it was positive because it was one of its kind. For the first time, an impeachment of motion, a motion to impeach a cabinet secretary reached a third reading, and it reached a point whereby the members of parliament, the people whom we've delegated power to, will be able to give their say on it. Remember, there's an impeachment that was brought by one who was now being impeached yesterday. Linturi brought a certain impeachment to impeach the then cabinet of devolution, Anne Waiguru. But this impeachment did not even reach the third reading, because the time it was supposed to reach the third reading, whereby the mover maybe reads it in parliament so that the members of parliament can be able to weigh on it, something happened. And you know the story between Linturi and Keitani, who was then working in the office of the deputy president. He decided to take Linturi for some out, and the member, the senator of Meru forgot that he was supposed to be in the Senate, and that is how that bill failed. But for the first time, now the person who tried to bring motion is the one who was now being discussed. It reached all the stages, only to be dropped by the committee. So the question that Kenyans are asking, that is me and you, is that is there any way that maybe Kenyans can now pick it from them and say that no, we don't disagree, we don't agree with the decision or with the recommendation by the select committee. Of course, the committee comprised of 11 people, of which seven dropped the charges and four dissented. And I've read you the list of the members who dissented. We had Catherine Omanyo, we had Yusuf, and we also had the Ruaraka member of parliament, that is TJ Kajwang. So they dissented. I say that they don't feel that the charges weren't substantiated. So as I welcome, I can see there is a True TV, and I also have Black. Black, I don't know why you always, sometimes you come when you're bright. I don't know why you like coming when you're black. Before I welcome you, allow me read the comments from this section. Rafiki has said, history will judge us harshly. This 13th parliament will be the worst of its kind. I think people are seeing that. Goodyear, Linturi is being protected for some reasons. So Goodyear, you can go ahead and tell us what are some of these reasons why Linturi is being protected. And I also welcome any other person who is joining me, that after subscribing, you can also use the comment section so that we can be able to know your views on this. This is something important, something touching on agriculture, something touching on our food basket, that if we don't talk on it, then as a nation, I think we are lost. And as you subscribe, there's an option of becoming a member. Of course, Goodyear is our member at 001. You can see next to his comment, there are some badges there. So if you also want to get such kind of a badge, then you need to join and become a member. There are three options. I told you the first pack is we have an ordinary, we have VIP and VVIP, and all of them are affordable. You can join, and maybe there's a month you feel like it's overwhelming a bit, you can drop tena ukuje ujoin. So Geoffrey Ruto, I'm speaking to you. There is news going around that the president's invitation to join sitting of the Congress has been declined due to wicked Kenyans living abroad flooding the Congress website with negativity. Now, Geoffrey Ruto, this one I'll give Mzalendo. I can see him. He'll be at a better place to respond to this. I don't know if you are referring to him because he's among the Kenyans who are living there. So I'll not comment on that. When I'll finally invite him to say a word, I'll expect him to address that one. Rafik is saying that no one is saved from impunity. Solomon in the Bible chose to serve God and was blessed with wisdom. We have people who bow down to the real Satan of desire and temptation. I think there's a video play that maybe is responding to that. This is one of the reasons why we should join the channel, so that we can help the people on the ground. Great, Goodyear, and I'm so glad that you're always there, and that is why we even reach a point whereby you can join the channel and become a member, because when you join the channel, that is how you support this program. You see, sometimes we get out of power, but if you people join, we might even have a generator. This is really disappointing. What actually do they benefit from? I don't know. Do I need to start with Mzalendo and Black? Mzalendo, I think you came first, but you did not get in the studio. Let me give Black maybe to say hi, and also to respond to there's a question that have been asked by Geoffrey Ruto, that president was denied access to a joint Congress because of negativity by the Kenyans living abroad. So you guys are the Kenyans who are living abroad. You can tell us if this is true. Black, before we go to our main debate.
Yes. Hello. How are you? Can you
So
hear
I
me?
can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. First of all, hello to my fellow panelists in Zalendo and Leo. And secondly, I want to say hello to our esteemed viewers, wherever they are watching us from. Um, I'm grateful to always share this platform with all you um, panelists and all of you viewers from wherever you are. It's always a pleasure. This is like a home, it's a family. We all know each other, even though we've never met each other. And I'm grateful to be part of this platform. Um, moving forward, in regards to President Ruto's trip, I think that's a whole topic altogether, which cannot just be summed up by a sentence the way you'd like me to. So I'll just save it for later as we proceed further in the debate. If you can allow me to do that, I'll be grateful. Um, but most importantly, it's the matter at hand, just like the topic suggests, which is Linturi survives impeachment finance bill 2024 and floods. Um, mine is to say that as much as the mover of that motion had um, a lot of merit in his case, I think they they were too much in a hurry. Yes, we did know that there were some fake fertilizers that were procured, but the best thing that they would have done is they could have proceeded further in trying to establish the money trail. Had they gone further to establish the money trail that would tie Linturi as part of the conspiracy group in swindling Kenyans in getting those fake fertilizers for his personal gain financially, then that would have been a watertight impeachment case. That is how I've analyzed it and looked at it from that perspective. Like, if they really wanted to tie him down, they ought to have made efforts to go for the paper trail, the money trail. Because if this person who was given the tender to supply this fertilizer brought fake fertilizers, he or she must have been paid a lot of money. But having received that money, he must have shared with people. Now they should have gone further in trying to establish who are these people. You know, like they were in the case of Guru. They went further to establish that there was that saloonist. Nakumbuka kulikuwaga na ule saloonist. Yeah? Mwenye
Kumbuka
all of
vizuri
a
sana.
sudden, yes. So I wish they would have been slightly patient and done things silently to establish that money trail that would tie him down in a way that he would have nowhere to run. But now this wamekimbilia haraka kumimpeach. They basically gave him room to escape this. No. So that is how I'm looking at it. And I'll leave it at that so that we can
Okay,
proceed
thank
further
you.
in
Thank you.
the debate.
Let me bring in Zalendo. Of course, I know there are so many questions there directed to you. I'll give you time to respond to them, and we are also going to weigh on this. We are going to look at the timing of the impeachment, the motive of impeachment. Was it the right thing to be done? Because I've also heard some people from the other end saying that, okay, there was no way somebody will come up with an impeachment against Linturi, yet nobody came up with an impeachment against Susan Nahumicha. So it's like taking the normal tribal direction of us versus them and such kind of things. And there is some rumor that that one played out in acquitting Linturi. Of course, you're going to look at that, and that is why I'm glad that you're there. And Geoffrey Ruta also encouraged you to join the studio so that you can also be able to weigh. Rafik, if you can also be able to join the studio. We want to look at this issue as Kenyans. We need to sort this kind of budgeted corruption and a situation whereby people just mismanage mismanage the funds, and they misuse the offices that they've been given, knowing very well because you have somebody behind you. At the end of the day, nothing is going to be done to you. Nobody's going to hold you are responsible. And at the end of the day, the people who are suffering are Kenyans. The ones who are doing these things, they're not suffering. They're in business, of course. After supplying those, what Rafik calls as the fake fertilizer, you'll find that somebody got some money in their pocket while somebody got hurt. So mzalendo, karibu.
Asante sana Leo and siku mingi. Habari gani Black? I hope
Tuko
you're doing.
salama kabisa.
Mzuri sana, mzuri.
I hope you guys are doing fine. Maybe I would start by the question of Linturi. It is this. African leaders, especially those ones in power, or the ones who have been appointed. There's a way they back each other. It is a club. It is a club. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. The survival of Linturi is political. William Ruto's government was not going to look for a new ally in Meru. He was not going to change the game. And had he been impeached, then you would have seen people like Muya coming back into government. People who were previously in Uhuru Kenyatta's government, because Meru politics is very, very vital to both Gachagua and William Ruto. For if Linturi was successfully impeached, Linturi is not alone. Linturi is supported by other former MPs, and I believe the former governor Kiraitu Murungi was on his side. And again, remember, this is a county where the head of security, what is his name again? I've forgotten his name. That is called who? I'll remember his
IG
name.
Kome, or who are you referring to?
The CS for internal security is called.
That is Professor.
Yeah, Professor.
Kindiki.
Professor Kindiki comes from that area. So there's a lot of politics going on, and being Africa and being Kenya the way we know it, there could be a lot of corruption that also happened in Linturi's case. But decency demanded that Linturi resigns from his cabinet position, and to allow investigations to go on. That is what a decent man should always do. When you have been mentioned advancedly in your docket that you supplied, this was not a supply to any other store. You supplied to the government fake fertilizer, and you sold it to Kenyans, and you are the minister. The buck stops with you. The buck stops with you. Then there's no excuse, there's no shortcut to it. There's no word trailing, or like what Black is saying. That buck stops with you. The fact that fake fertilizer found its way into a store, he should have been the first person to launch investigation, and those people who were found culpable be arrested. If he had done that, then we would not have seen much of this drama. But Linturi, I think, being the mayor he is, he knew his way around, and he knew he's politically correct. That is why he went all the way up to parliament. And of course, William Ruto's government have the majority in parliament. So they will always have their way. That's my take on that particular issue.
I get you, Mzalendo, and of course, most people are saying, like Rafiki is saying, that if the assembly can forgive all, then Kenyans are being programmed to forgive the worst crimes of corruption that they will find out in 2032. And Linturi should have resigned voluntarily since this serious offense happened in his ministry under his supervision. There's a question that somebody asked you. I think it is not related to this, but you can also maybe just give a response to it. Somebody is saying that the president wasn't allowed to address a joint Congress simply because of negativity that is spread outside there by Kenyans who are living abroad. Do you think that Kenyans are portraying this beautiful country negatively, or they're just doing their civic responsibility of holding the government accountable?
I think what they are doing, there is something called freedom of speech. Even here in the US, Biden is not liked as much as people might think that is overwhelming liked in most of the areas. No, there are areas that is very, very unpopular. They know the politics, and Americans have intelligence. The thing I want to tell people is that William Ruto did not initiate the invitation to Congress. This thing was initiated by a Republican representative and a Democrat. They are the ones who felt that William Ruto, on his visit, should address Congress. Their reasons were informed by something. I think what I think they are looking at in Ruto is eloquence and his policies on African issues. So that alone is what prompted these legislators to write a letter to the speaker so that he could address Congress. But the speaker declined, saying that they have a tight schedule and there would be no time to address Congress. But again, there's a lot of politics around it also. There are people who feel that during this time in election year in the US, it is not actually the right time to come and address and take side politically with the government that is sitting. Yet you don't anticipate, yet you don't know which government is coming in November. So that could also have seen in some quarters people arguing like that. But I think largely there was no significant rush to address Congress. Maybe next year, if they still feel that William Ruto's policies are the best, then they will invite him to address Congress. Otherwise, this thing was not a Kenyan project. It was an American initiative for William Ruto to address Congress. So let people not spin the story. This is just an American who is excited by the president of Kenya addressing Congress.
I think that is well answered. I just want to play a certain video here from the person who brought up the motion to impeach Linturi. Then you'll tell me maybe if these are just mere allegations or it's just some popularity claims, or it's true that some money exchange hands, because Muzalenda has already given us the other side why he feels that Linturi wasn't going anywhere. And any political analyst said that there was no way Linturi was going. Of course, the political part of it, whereby that the president is elected on a political platform, and he also needs to get some of his friends to marshal some votes from the lower eastern, or from the eastern side of the Mount Kenya, which might be true that that's a politic that also played around. And there are people who also claim that they felt that Linturi was going to be used as a sacrificial lamb, maybe to clean up and show some incompetency in Ruto's leadership, and they are really questioning, is it that
Before that,
to go first before going for Nahumeja. So I just want to listen to this.
Lakini 149 members constituencies tumepiga hesabu hawa wana represent 29 million Kenyans. Wamesema Mithika Linturi hafai kuwa waziri wa kilimo. That is a vote of no confidence. Hata Linturi afanye nini, bunge haina imani na yeye kama waziri wa kilimo. So for me, we won. Na mnajua kumekuwa na allegations hapa ya pesa. Dada yangu Wamanyo huyu, she was offered money 5 million. Alikataa, akasema atasimama na Wakenya. Na hata akawaambia hawa majamaa walikuwa karibu wanapigana huko, akawaambia hiyo pesa itawaletea cancer. It is in public knowledge that these people wametembea hapo wakikula pesa, lakini tunawaachia Wakenya.
Yeah, Mr. Black, I don't know what is your response to that. An MP is being offered 5 million so that she can say that, you see, these allegations cannot be substantiated. 5 million. Why would somebody do that?
But why only one MP? That's the question. You know, if they would have said that a number of them, especially in the committee, select committee, were offered this money, then I think it would carry more weight, even though it would have no effect or it would not change anything. But it would make sense saying, like, let's say, I, Black, Mzalendo, and Leo were approached and offered each 5 million to, you know, to speak this way or to vote that way. But, you know, saying that out of us three, Mzalendo was offered, what effect would that one person have in the overall decision of that committee? You know, if a number of them would come out and say that they are offered that amount, I think then it would have weight. Such a press conference would carry
So
weight.
you don't believe
That's my view.
that there was some bravery, maybe to influence the outcome of the committee, because now the committee was having 11 people,
But one
and
person.
you've seen the
Why
few
only that
people who,
Momanya?
yeah.
Why that lady? Why that lady? They should have come in plenty. You see, that man there is speaking on behalf of that woman that refused that 5 million. He ought to have said that perhaps he and others, you know, they were offered that amount. We're just talking about that lady. Why that lady? Only? There were 11 members in that committee. Perhaps if, let's say, 4 or 5 would come out and say, we were offered this amount of money by so and so, then, you know, I like using data or facts in making my judgments, because I'm looking at these are 11-member committee. The majority side, of course, had more members than the minority side, and if anything, without the minority votes, they would still win. And at the same time, if they were to want to sway the votes in terms of money, that would mean either the voting pattern in that select committee would be tight, such that it would be hard for the side that wants to save Linturi to overwhelmingly save him, thus needing to get uh, some few votes from the minority side in the select committee, then that would make sense. But already they had the majority. And Managasema, if at all they really needed to buy them, it would not be just that one. So I think it's just pure politics at play.
I get you. Maybe before I bring in Jeff, you can see Jeff is also there. Let me also welcome the ones who are joining us now. You can see Mary's. The fact that one MP speaking doesn't mean the rest were not offered. Probably they are choosing to be silent. Rafiki is also saying that Kenya should question the constitution. Sovereignty should be recalled by Kenyans when the allied revolt against the Kenyan interest. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can always use the comment section to engage in this kind of conversation, and you can also use the link that I do share on the comment section to join the studio, and also visually and visually participate in this kind of debate. And also to remind you, for the ones who've subscribed to Afrique, that right now you can go ahead and join Afrique and become a member. It's simple. When you go to YouTube, after you've subscribed, you'll see that option
Leave,
of join. Click on joining. There are three options. Did I hear somebody talk black?
no, I just wanted to
Okay.
give one quick sentence that maybe,
Yeah.
maybe is almost nearly these kind of words do not carry water.
Mm-hmm.
Almost maybe they don't make sense.
Okay. I get you. And no, I'll get back to you later because Rafik is also telling you that even without money, is the impeachment process fair and open? So can you respond to that, or maybe you'll respond to it later? There's a question there. Without money, is the impeachment process fair and open?
Without,
I hope you did follow the impeachment, eh?
to be honest, to be honest, to be honest,
Yeah.
about what the committee did, uh, I think it was morally wrong, personally.
Uh-huh.
He
Okay.
ought to have been impeached. That is my view. And
That is great.
I believe that
Mzalendo,
they failed Kenyans in the way they passed their judgment.
I get you.
But then
Mzalendo, I
again,
know I want to break.
like I said earlier on, I like basing my arguments on factual data to be able to substantiate what I'm saying, not based on what I feel. There's some things I'll speak on what I feel in regards to how I view things, but there would not be facts. They'll be merely, as mzalendo likes calling them, kuna ile word napenda kutumia sana mzalendo,
Which word is
speculating.
it? But you know, people
Like,
speculate because they are not told the truth. That is a fact. The reason why people speculate is when they're not given sufficient information, so they remain speculating. Like Kenyans are already speculating and trying to come up with ways what they think might be the reason why this guy survived an impeachment. So, Mzalendo, before I bring in Jeff, you've had some claims that a certain MP was offered some 5 million, and you know very well that is bribery, and bribery is a criminal offense in the country. Why can't this person who was offered 5 million go to court, report the person who offered the money, so that Kenyans know that it's true they were offered this money? Is there, or is it that these people are just giving some sentiment so that they can gain some political mileage when they are not sincere on, or when they cannot prove that such kind of thing happened?
I always say that the people who vie to become members of parliament, they vie for a reason. Because being a member of parliament, that is the most lucrative job in the country right now. You are in control of about 250 million taxpayers' money, which is not audited by anybody. And everybody is scrambling to get into parliament. So the crop of leaders that we have in parliament are basically, a large amount of them are corrupt. I don't see any clean member of parliament, because what drives them into those positions is not service to the people, but service to their accounts and to their stomachs and to their families. uh, that is what drives most of these MPs to vie for for leadership. There's no servant leadership. When it comes to corruption allegations, if this MP was offered 5 million, he had the opportunity to take the 5 million and report to the police that this money has been offered by Linturi. That would have been evidence, criminal evidence, enough to impeach or to remove Linturi from office. But what did they opt to do? To share some vague information in public that we were offered 5 million. That attempt could have been there. That attempt could have been there. You remember one Osoro claiming that he gave MPs 100,000 each
Yeah.
to uphold the sitting in parliament. So this is a rogue parliament. This is one of the most useless parliaments in the history of Kenya. If you look at the bills that they are debating and on the issues that they stand for, they don't stand for the people. They don't stand for us. They stand for them. Uh, you know, they stand for them. And if they are not just stamping on the political side they are in, they are doing basically nothing. Look at the bipartisan bills that have been passed in parliament. They are either in favor of what they want uh, and not what the people want. Yeah, more money in the Senate, more money in the counties, more money in for MPs, more money for MCAs. It is happening all over, and the country that is being milk dry is Kenya. Kenya has got nothing, no minerals, no nothing. It's only a tax base that is being looted by these particular individuals. That is why we need to stand up. We need to stand up and believe that we can have a good country. We can have a good country because most of us are the facilitators of bad leadership. That is a fact. I don't complain about Ruto. Ruto is not the problem. The problem is you, the voter. The problem is you who are putting these bad leaders into power. The problem is not your governor who is stealing your money. It is you who facilitated him or her to steal your money, and you don't talk about it. So sometimes I always say, clean your yard first before you clean other people's yard. So even if you see the opposition making a lot of noise, their yard is as dirty as the government of the day. All right, Leo. Otherwise, thank you.
Are you saying the problem is the voters? So how can Kenyan voter maybe ensure that they save the situation because their role ends at the polling station? Like right now, you've had the select committee have already given a recommendation. So what is a voter? What power does the voter have now to overturn this kind of recommendation? Because they don't participate in these impeachment processes. They
You
don't summon the CS and such kind of things.
Listen, Leo, that MP
Yes.
who was attempting to take a bribe or who didn't take a bribe and came out in public is a representation of who you are as a voter. That person represents you. That person represents Leo, who is waiting for an opportunity to go into parliament and steal the same way that MP is stealing. So it is just cautious. So you can imagine 11 there were 11 members in the committee.
There are 11 members, yeah. Yes, Mr. Lender. We can't hear you.
Maybe he has problems with his network.
Yeah. There were 11 members. Let me bring in Jeff. Jeff, karibu sana. Good morning, good afternoon from wherever you are. Of course, we are just looking at the impeachment of Linturi. He survived an impeachment after 7 out of 11 members said that the allegations were not substantiated. So he is still fit to be the CS, he fit to keep on doing his roles as the CS agriculture because he that the people who accused him, or the people who brought the impeachment bill, did not prove beyond reasonable doubt that he was responsible for the supply of fake fertilizers. So in that case, they insinuate that Linturi should not take responsibility. Yes, it is true the fertilizers that are substandard or fake were supplied, but he can't take responsibility of that. So Buru, I don't know what is your feeling on that. Do you think that the Kenyan farmers got justice, or it is the minister or the cabinet secretary who got justice while Kenyan farmers did not get justice?
Thank you so much, Mr. Leo. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah, I can see Mr. Black. I have heard Mr. Muzarendo there. Yeah, that is good. I'm pleased to see all of you in the studio. I'll begin by saying, yes, that is who we are as a nation, because the politicians that we choose them from among ourselves. They are representative of who we are. If we were good people, our politicians would be good people, some of whom we vote them because of the bribes they gave us before they went to parliament. And I have heard even people saying, oh, I can't vote for him because I haven't eaten anything from him. And therefore, we vote people through corruption and bribe. And there is no way they would live outside corruption and bribe. So we have to sanitize ourselves, because even the implementers of laws, they are chosen among Kenyans. Those lawyers, those judges, all of them, they are a representative of who we are. As a country, we have become so rotten. We have rotten mind, rotten attitude, rotten perception of how things are supposed to be. We don't live within the confines of law, and therefore we don't expect justice because we are not just people. If we are just people, we would begin by saying we will not receive bribe in order to vote anybody. When they come with their gifts, we will not take them. We will tell them, go work for us. We want to work. We want decency. We want integrity. But what do? We are always chasing what they are giving us. So that is one point. The other point is the presidency. If the president was not willing Mr. Linturi to be impeached, there was no way he was going to be impeached. I don't know whether he was willing or not, but for me, I think if President William Ruto was of the opinion that Linturi should go home, he was going to be impeached. But if it was the contrary, there was no way he was going to be impeached, because he is right now a main influence. He is right now having so many people behind him. He is right now the strongest politician in Kenya. So therefore, if we wanted Linturi to be kicked out, he was going to be kicked out without doubt. The other thing, ask yourself, why did they opt to go for the small team committee to decide the fate of Linturi? All this was a process of trying to save him. It was a process of trying to save him. If the parliamentarians wanted Linturi to be impeached, or they wanted to serve justice to the Kenyan people, they were going to opt for the whole house determination. And therefore, the fact that they chose to go that route, it means they wanted him to be saved. And also, I want to say it's also a good thing that the minister was taken through that process, because it's also a warning sign that other ministers are likely to be afraid of their actions. And also, I don't want to say that whether justice was served or not, because we don't know to what extent was the minister involved in that fake or whatever substandard fertilizer. We don't know how he was involved unless we are told. However, for me, I'm saying if the minister was not involved, if the accusers were not able to satisfy the parliamentarian that yes, this man is contributed to this, or this man has done ABCD, or he is responsible for what happened, then the question we should be asking ourselves is who then was to be accused? Then who was the person who was involved? Because we should not stop there, Mr. Leo. The people who got the tender, they must be known by the government. Their names are there. Their accounts are there. So I hate the game that I see. So anybody who was part and parcel of what happened should be investigated. And not only being investigated, Kenyans should get the value of their money. Some people should be jailed. So it should not stop there. We should see heads rolling. We need to stick to the rule of law, of which in Kenya, I don't see that. I don't see that. And we have to start thinking not just about now, but about building a nation for generations. The problem we have, Mr. Leo, is that we live today, don't think of tomorrow. Politicians, they think of themselves today. They don't think of their children tomorrow and their grandchildren who will come in the future. So that is how a nation is built. A nation can only be built through having a greater vision than ourselves, than the time that we are in. Thank you, Mr. Leo.
I get you. I get you very well. I can also see in the comment section, Geoffrey Ruto is asking who pays for corruption. Then Goodyear is concluding that bribe and corruption has always been a Kenyan trademark, and it's going to be hard to get rid of it. So I don't know after how long Kenyans will be able to put up with this. So Black, you know very well the president, as an appointing authority, has got power maybe to relieve such kind of cabinet secretaries. There are so many ways that these cabinet secretaries should be removed from office, apart from impeachment that was taken to parliament. The president has got powers to relieve him and maybe, or even transfer him or to a different, maybe a department. Do you think the president is having the goodwill? Maybe the president feels for the farmers and can make an action and say, okay, parliament tried to impeach him, but parliament saved him. That now I now want to use my powers as a president to ensure that, okay, I save, maybe even saving the face of the government. Like right now, everybody you see, I don't want to say everybody, but most of the farmers are so disappointed with what happened. The country's name has been tainted. If you go to the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock, people don't have faith with the ministry, and you know this is the backbone of the country's economy. So, do you think that the president is going is willing to do that take that bold movement and ensure that, okay, let me now do away with Linturi and put somebody in that position?
Leo,
Yes.
uh, to start with, before I respond to that, I want to agree with the sentiments that Jeff Mburu has just said when he was beginning his
Uh-huh.
um, his points about the parliamentarians being a reflection of our own selves, and that is true. We are to blame for most of these things. Because I'll give you an example. Take the case of, let's say, Oburu, the
Mm-hmm.
senator.
Yeah.
Do you see him passing any motions in Senate or debating? I have not seen. Maybe if you have, kindly Correct me. Have you seen him personally, Leo?
Actually, that is the next thing that we need to move to. Like we have
Yes.
MPs, senators, their main
Yeah,
role
that's
is
a,
supposed to legislate. The next question that we need to look as citizens is these people that we elect as MPs and senators, their main role is to legislate. How many laws are
yes.
tagged on their names? How do they
That's
contribute in the flow of the house? I
that's
think
the
when we
that's
go
the
there,
thing.
then we can be able to hold them responsible because there's no way you're going
Yes.
to hold the MP responsible based on how they manage CDF, which is not their role. So that is a right direction, and of course, I'm going to do that. I'll try check and give that finding so that we can be able to know which senator, which MP is doing what, and who is not doing this, so that we can be able to call on them and remind them that they need to be doing their major roles.
Yes, exactly. So that is why agreeing with what Jeff has just said that there is a result of our own making. We are the ones to be blamed for this mess that we already have right now in our system. Because you can't go electing people in leadership positions just by the mere fact that, let's say, he comes from a certain family, they probably gave you some amount of money, or they come from a particular political party, and then when they go to parliament, they don't do any work for you as they're supposed to do, and then we start doing the same thing as we always do, which is complaining, right? So it's our own mistakes. Now, you asked a question before that, and I'll really ask you to repeat the question so that I
No,
can
I was
give.
asking you,
Uh,
do you think that the president can make that bold move and say that, okay, I want to relieve Linturi of his duties?
you know, um, that appointment is a political appointment. Now, doing that would have political consequences. You might want to outweigh the political gains in the consequences that would follow, or the political losses that would follow as part of the consequences in that action of pulling him out. Now, you see, the minute he would fire him or relieve him of his job, that on itself give a bad image of him. Unfortunately, politically, as much as it would give uh, a good feel to the common mwananchi, having gotten rid of the person that has caused them pain in giving them the fake fertilizers. Now, when you look at this outcome, you can easily tell that it's the political aspect of gaining, not to seem weak in comparison to the opposition, because that would have given the opposition something to talk about in hitting the government. Munaona, tuliwaambia hawa watu wamekuwa hivi, unaona. So he must have looked at it from a political point of view instead of looking at it from the Mwananchi point of view, and that's the sad part. So I think it, it was a dilemma
I get
which,
you.
in my view, I would have taken a different action. I think I would have just fired him and do damage control politically later. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you. Yeah.
I get you. I get you. I get you. Rafiki is saying that how many suffer from the arrogance of the few assembly holders, gross mismanagement. But we need to know that these guys who are in the assembly, they're the ones who we elect to represent us because all of us cannot be in that assembly. So whenever we're electing an MCA or we're electing an MP or a governor, we put them there to hold these offices on our behalf. Democracy under siege. Uh, democracy under siege. Decisions are made to the highest bidder. Everything has a price. I do agree with you. That one, I think, have been evident. You've also had an MP there claiming that, okay, you see, somebody tried to bribe them, but what the question that Kenyans should be asking, when somebody tried to bribe you, what did you do? Did you just keep quiet and allow yourself to be bribed, or when you were declining this kind of bribe, why did you like take an action, report to police, and ensure that everybody knows that there was some bribery claim? So that's why sometimes you also don't trust these kind of MPs when they tell us that, okay, you see, they gave me some 5 million. Why can't they always tell us when they take these millions? Because there's no way somebody can come and tell you that they want to give you 5 million, you decline, then you just keep quiet, you don't take an action, unless you're also part of that bribery. I think that's a question that also Kenyans are asking. If you look at the people that we elect, somebody have been saying that, okay, you see, we elect these people. Go to Nairobi County, for example. We've seen so many claims there. We've seen claims that, you see, the county government is spending a lot of money in these court cases. I don't know how this one happens, that like even one farm is getting like 50 million just for cases. Yeah? A law firm is getting 50 million when Nairobians cannot even be able to afford some of the basic services. Good is saying that the fake fertilizer is still in circulation. I think this one was sorted, and the last time I checked, the government was compensating the people who received the fake fertilizers. That is through the National Cereals and Produce Board. They were compensating the ones who received fake fertilizers, and that is a confirmation that indeed Kenyans got a fake fertilizer.
Leo,
So the only thing, yes, can you hear me?
I can tell you from a point of experience that from my end, I have people that have not received any compensation in regards to that fertilizer. They've been trying to see,
Uh-huh.
I like being honest, in the way I debate. As much I have supported this government all through from the beginning. But when I see a wrong, I point it out. And when I see something is being done right, I also point it out. Whereas they say that there's some people have been compensated, but from
Mm-hmm.
the area which I won't mention for obvious reasons, um, that I'm trying to make my assertions on, they did not receive the replacement fertilizers because, in actual sense, they're out of stock of these fertilizers in the government stores at their villages. So that's what I know for a fact. Based on that, like I said, mimi napendanga kubase kitu on specific facts data. So naongelea kijiji fulani ambacho sitakitaja where I'm related with. They have not received that fertilizer as replacement. Thank you.
I get you. I get you. I get you. I get you. I get you. So I think you referred to that, the issue of the fake fertilizer. You've seen what has happened. Okay. So Buru, you said something that if the president wanted the CS to leave office, then that one would have been possible.
Excuse me,
But
sir. Can I touch
yes,
something on the substandard fertilizer?
go
Yeah, I
ahead.
just want us to think about the compensation. One, I would like to say that the government of Kenya, since the time immemorial, has never been open to the people of Kenya. It is as if the people or the public does not have the right to information. Because, for instance, it's only that we are being told there was fake fertilizer, others are talking of substandard fertilizer. But nobody tells us what was in this fertilizer that was supposed not to be there, or what was not put in this fertilizer. When they say fake fertilizer, what are they talking about? Nobody explained to Kenyans so that they may have an understanding. Number
Mburu,
two,
they they told us, just to answer your question,
okay, let
they
me
told us
proceed.
the composition of that fertilizer.
Okay, maybe you can help because I did capture that part of it. Number two, they were supposed to tell us the consignment. How many bags came and where were they supplied? Because there was fake or substandard fertilizer, and maybe there was another one that was not substandard. So they are not telling us the
They
people
told us
or the
also
areas that received.
500,000 bags.
Sorry.
Mburu, I
They
think
told us also 500,000 bags
Mburu, you've
from that
not been following this story.
Yeah,
Now,
The
from that
fertilizers
Asian
was
man. I don't
analyzed
remember his
by
name.
KEBS.
are you able to understand where I'm coming from? The reason I'm saying this is so that I, as a farmer, because farmers don't have the knowledge to know whether what they received was substandard or not. How can we know who received the substandard fertilizer or who is supposed to be compensated? That is the reason why you hear some people saying, oh, I have not been compensated. Are they aware whether what they received was substandard or not?
Mburu, the people who raised the alarm for the fake fertilizer were farmers. They have been using fertilizer for so many years. So when they received a fake fertilizer, they raised the alarm. This fertilizer was fake, and people started speculating. So the government raided the storage of these fertilizers, and the samples of fertilizers were taken to KEBS for analysis, and they were analyzed as fake fertilizers. Now, the quantity that might have sneaked into the market, that one can only be verified by the outlets that were supplying the farmers, or where they were getting these fertilizers from. So these are the facts. And just to go back to it a bit, this issue was really politicized. I wish at one point the minority could have just let this issue go and say, this is the government, this is what they are providing for the citizen. We don't have power in parliament, so this is what you will get in the next few years by Ruto's government. And remember, the Speaker of the National Assembly was appointed by the President, Wetangula, when there was a clause being introduced by Wandai, the clause that said, irrespective of the debate irrespective of the outcome of the committee chaired by the lady, what's her name, Wako, then we can vote as a house to send to either send the minister home, or he remains in office. So the speaker denied the National Assembly to decide on the fate of the speaker. This is political, and it remains a political move by the ruling party.
Maybe Mzalendo, maybe just to, I don't know, to give you some more information. If you remember the impeachment of the deputy governor of Siaya, the committee recommended that they had substantial, they've substantiated some of the claims, and they recommended that the deputy governor be impeached. But what happened later? it was the clause similar to the one that was being introduced by Wandai today that saved the deputy governor. Because after that, now the committee of the whole house voted, and they voted to save the deputy governor. I think that one did not happen in Linturi's case, whereby the members were not given an opportunity now to vote. And unlike what happened when they were trying to impeach the deputy governor of Siaya, the committee recommended impeachment, but now the full house voted against the committee. I hope that is what you're trying to explain.
But Mr. Leo,
that's what I've explained. Yeah.
Still, some things are yet to come out clear, and
Yes.
What is lingering in my mind are so many questions, because the panelists here, they have said that farmers complained that the fertilizer is substandard or fake. And then after the complaint, the government laid it, they go down. And they did the investigation to ascertain that this fertilizer is indeed substandard. Now, ask yourself, at what point did the government then start to collaborate with the suppliers of this fertilizer? Because at one point, we are exonerating the government by saying they laid it, they go down, and the government itself ascertained that indeed the fertilizer was substandard. Then on the other hand, we are saying the government has failed to prosecute, or the government has failed to do what it was supposed to do. So the confusion which is coming there is that I see the government which had a goodwill to do what was right. And also it is the government that told people that we have ascertained that this fertilizer is substandard. Then the question which is coming to my mind, why are they not acting to the edge to ensure that Kenyans get justice? So there is something which is not coming out very clear there.
Mburu, can I say, this is a political process. This is a political process. So the outcome is political. When the government tells you that they are investigating, they want to be seen as doing something, the way you have already seen it. And now, when they dictate the outcome of the results, they want to see that they want to be seen as the government that is doing the right thing. If it had gone the other way around, that the House voted to impeach Linturi, what repercussion would it have had to the government? That is my question to you.
The repercussion, number one, people are just saying Linturi, but they don't know that each and every cabinet secretary who was appointed because he commands or she commands some votes. So behind Linturi, there are his people from his backyard. And Linturi is a billionaire. He means a lot to the government. If you were listening when they were being asked to declare their wealth, he is one of the richest people in Kenya. So that's not the guy who can just be kicked out. But this is what I said, and my conclusion is this. It is not a must that because something has happened in a ministry, that the minister is involved. He can be vicariously liable, but not directly. Therefore, what I am asking myself is, there are those people who were given the tender. Their names are known because that fertilizer never brought itself in Kenya. Those are the people we want to see prosecuted, investigated, and those are the people who are supposed to return the money to the people of Kenya, not the government taking our taxes to compensate the farmers. So that is where I find it hard that, yes, these people know what ought to be done. And that's why I'm saying Kenyans is like, we don't have the right for information. We want to hear that Leo and Mzalendo and Brack brought this fertilizer in Kenya. And this is the amount of money they were paid. And therefore, as the government, these are the steps we are taking against them. So it is not a matter of this drama of going to the CS, knowing very well, maybe the CS was not involved directly, and that is why we are told that they were not able to substantiate. But even if we are not able to impeach the CS, then who should carry the blame? Who should take the responsibility? That is the question. So this should not end there. If the government is serious, we should know exactly who did what and what are the consequences that those people have faced or they are going to face.
I get you. And Mburu, do you think that the government is going to do anything now that the minister have been acquitted? Do you think that the government is going to open the files? Because already it's confirmed that the substandard fertilizer was supplied because the government started a program to compensate. Do you think that the government is going to open these files, or this issue
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. And this is how the government is going to do something. The government will do something if me and you, Leo, that meaning the people of Kenya will decide not to keep quiet. But if we behave as if we are satisfied by the outcome and keep quiet, the government also will keep quiet. Remember, it is our government, the government that was voted by you and me. Kenyans are supposed to seek for answers. Kenyans are supposed to talk about this fertilizer and not give the government peace, because that is why we voted for them. We keep on talking about it. If I said, if there is demonstration I would support, is when Kenyans are saying we want justice. It is not enough to compensate Kenyans without telling us who did that. So for me, I'm saying, Leo, let Kenyans do whatever is within their power to force the government to do what the government is supposed to be done, to do what is supposed to be done. Because it is unfair that here somebody has been paid because they never brought this fertilizer in Kenya for free. It means somebody was paid by the government using taxpayers' money. And that person has brought in fertilizer that did not give value of money to the people of Kenya. Then the same government says, okay, this mistake happened, and because of this, to make you keep quiet, we're going to compensate with your own money. It is like stealing from us double stealing. I mean, it should not happen. It should be condemned. And we should tell the president that he knows what is right. He has the power to make the heads rolling. He is the appointing authority. He can say, he would have even said, I don't want all this drama in parliament. What I want to see, who did what, and kick those people out. I mean, if today the president don't want the minister to continue as the CS, he can just with a stroke of a pen, tell him out. You have, the minister has failed to take action. Because even if he has taken any action, it is not felt down there. Leo, we don't feel what he has done. He has not told us who brought the consignment. He has not told us what are the actions that have been taken. I just saw that maybe a week before he was before he went to parliament, is when he was saying, I don't know who was terminated. Those are jokes. Those are not serious people in the government.
Buru, let me just add that.
Because the minister is vicariously liable, whether directly or indirectly, there are actions that he is the only one who was supposed to take. And he failed to take those actions. Then he was also supposed to carry the burden. As the president, if I was the president, the first question I would have asked him, it is now several months since this case came up. Can you provide a report of what you have done about it? And because you have failed, because for me he has failed, therefore you are not competent enough to handle this docket and explain to Kenyans the reason why this person has to go. It should have given hope to the Kenyan people. This is a young government.
No, Mburu, you are right. But again, I want to tell you that the supplier who brought in the fertilizer is maybe a politician, or maybe an MP that was elected that
Yes.
Some of these tenders are issued directly to individuals who are close to power. So whatever you are asking for, you will never get it. You'll never get it in any time soon. What we would have been pressing very hard is that the minority party should do a good job when it comes to investigating these matters. Azimio failed to capitalize on the weaknesses of the government. They should have done a thorough investigation and come up with the facts. Yeah, so here we are just mere speculation as what was happening in the investigations. They did not have any facts apart from the fact that the fertilizers were fake. They needed to go a notch higher to find out which are these farms that brought in the fake fertilizers. Who are these people who are associated with these particular companies that were awarded this tender? Was the procurement done properly? So those are some of the things that we ought to be been asking the right questions, not just to make noise on the floor of the house, but to ask the right questions to the right people and to the right investigative authorities. There, then you can find answers to what we are asking right now. But for now, Linturi is a free man. He will still be the Minister for Agriculture until maybe the president feels that he ought to reshuffle his cabinet or remove him. We have got very little to do other than just to watch the space.
So
And
Mzalendo, are you trying to say that now the president has
Can I
failed
add
Kenyans,
also?
or blame?
What?
Are you trying to say that the president has failed Kenyans?
You see, I would not say that the president has failed Kenyan. I would say that both the opposition and the government of the day has failed in this particular story, in this particular saga. The president has got the powers to sack a cabinet secretary. He has the powers to sack a cabinet secretary. The president of the Republic of Kenya knows the facts about these fake fertilizers. Even if the investigations were still going on, the president knew and knows the companies that supplied the fertilizers. The reason why he decided to save Linturi's ass is political, is just mere politics. It's not about Kenyans. I keep on telling you, when you form a political party, you form it to grab power, and when you get power, you sit on that seat namatakombili. So you don't want anything that takes your government. So what Ruto is doing is exactly what most African leaders do. Whether alipatikana na makosa or not, this man has got some boats, the way Mburu is saying, that comes along with it. Let him survive for now. But he will call Linturi on the side and tell him, you know what, mister, for the sake of the public outcry, I will reshuffle you to a lesser ministry where you can relax a bit as this matter cools down. But you see, you're going with all your benefits, so don't worry much. That is exactly what happens in Kenya. So we don't expect. You remember the case of Amos Kimunya during Kibaki's
Yeah,
time?
Kimunya must go. And of course, if you did look at the response from one, the bullfighter, he was so dissatisfied, and he of course called on the president now to take the matter as his own and act.
You know, seven out of 11 is overwhelming majority. You know, that's a big, huge number that felt that this guy should go back to his job. If you are talking about maybe 5, no, but 7, 7 ni mingi. So this guy survived. Of course, he's been in the game for quite a long time. He's been within parliament and he knows his way around. So this was just political and it will remain political. Kenyans like Mr. Mburu will keep on speculating, and but there is nothing much that we can do other than just talk about it.
You know, Mr. Leo,
Yeah, question.
Yes.
Before
Yeah,
that,
Black is
Guru,
having
I
a
want
question.
to say something. You know about this case of Linturi, with the government compensating farmers and the company or the farm that uh, supplied this fake fertilizer received payments. So what has the farm that supplied this fake fertilizer done in matters to do with action to sort this issue out? Because we are not told. We are told that the government has been issuing compensation to farmers by reissuing proper fertilizers in exchange for the fake fertilizers which the farmers purchased. In matters to do with books of accounts, that math is not mathing, right? Because um, hii kampuni imelipwa pesa but hatujaambiwa kama wamerefund ile pesa ya ile nini, hawajarefund ile pesa, hatujaambiwa kama wamerefund ile pesa walilipwa. Kwa hiyo kazi ya kusupply hizo ma fertilizer, hizo mbolea mbaya, unaona. So are they still gonna be remaining with that money which they were paid for that fertilizer? That is one. Two, what happens to the books of accounts ya serikali by reissuing fertilizers, which is not wrong by the way, but in matters to do with auditing at the end of year of the financial end of the financial year, things will not go right. It will actually serve as an avenue for even more money to be stolen in the name of compensating farmers for this fertilizer. I don't know if any of you is seeing this from that particular angle. Hii ndio itakuwa kama njia ya ndo kupotea, tuseme tulikuwa tuna compensate farmers in the bigger
No,
picture.
the question that Kenyans are not, I think, should be asking is, okay, they supplied substandard fertilizer. Now, the government through the National Cereals Board is compensating Kenyans who receive substandard fertilizer. So which money is being used to compensate these people when we've not been told who supplied this fertilizer? And is this person taking responsibility? Because there's no need, Buru. You've not brought that fertilizer. You're just a distributor. There's no need. You can be able to compensate farmers when you know very well the person who supplied you this fertilizer. Why can't you go to that person and tell them that, okay, your fertilizer was fake, now return the money? Because already the payment had been made. The government is now using another money to compensate farmers. So don't you think there's something wrong with that?
Absolutely, absolutely, Mr. Leo. You know, when Mzalendo was giving his submission, I was feeling like I was being pinched. I was feeling like a lot of pain in my heart. Not because what he was saying is not true, but because that truth is too much. That that yes, even though our leaders know exactly what is going on, nothing will happen. because one, they have connections, because two, of who they are, and because of their influence politically. And is that the kind of a nation we want to build as a people? A nation whereby the law is meant for those without connections. The law is for the poor, whereas the politicians and those with connections, they don't fear anything. Under normal circumstance, a human being is supposed to fear something. So if our politicians, they don't fear the law, or they don't fear the repercussions, then what kind of a nation are we building? We saw the story of Sakaja, we kept quiet. Linturi, we kept quiet. Another person, we keep quiet. The hell,
No.
You know, Mburu, this is something that I've been thinking about now that you mentioned it, before I forget. You know, Senate entertains us with these sensational press conferences and, cameras facing, camera live sessions where Kajuang with his English and all that, you think that something is going to happen. Sifuna, saying a lot of facts and all
they are
that.
only acting drama.
These guys are just acting. I am telling you, there's Kenyans, these guys are actors, both from the opposition and to the government. They are just acting. They are just acting.
Yes.
When after that they run into a media station to give some sensational remarks, and all the cameras are watching, and then Leo picks up what Sifuna said. My government, this is what we said. But you see, saying the right things in the wrong place.
You see what I'm saying? It's very
They don't
unfortunate
legislate in the Senate, but they go to the television and the talk shows and
yeah, they go to the television to legislate. We see the kind of legislation, the kind of debate on AM live. You say, "Oh my God, this is the government," But when they are on the floor of the house, even getting that quorum to support Sifuna, whatever he's saying, he doesn't even have his senators to back him up. He doesn't have the senators to backing up. They are not organized. In short, Leo, the minority side is not organized, and they cannot face the majority in parliament, and they cannot coerce the members of the Senate to come up with a bipartisan ruling that this is what is affecting Kenyans at the moment. There is an emotional appeal that you can tell members of the Senate and to the general public, and even to the speaker, so that this thing can be so that we can get justice from whatever process it is. Senate and the parliament. Yeah, continue, Mburu.
Yeah, proceed. You see the opaqueness of this government, not just this government, of how the government we have had in Kenya have been behaving since independence. Kenyans don't get accurate information. They always play around with our mind. They always act drama. At the end of the day, we enrich one class of people. That is why we have few billionaires and millions of poor people. And I think it is the high time, and I'm saying this on a television, that Kenyans, it is the high time we start getting tired of bad governance. And when such things happen, because we have left our fate on people who don't care, we start showing them, even though you don't care. We, as the common people, we care about our country. You can imagine 61 years since independence, politicians have always been thinking about themselves and how to cover each other. From the time of government of Mzee Kenyatta until now, We are suffering from the same problem. When shall we start now saying it is the time of building the nation? I have seen Goodyear is saying that most of this fertilizer was given through goodwill by the Russian government and Ukraine government. But that is not what our government is telling us. Our government has never told us how many bags of fertilizer were given from Russia. If anything, we have been taking credit that we have supplied affordable fertilizer to farmers. But we have the right as the people of Kenya to know the fertilizer that was substandard, where did it come from? That is what I'm saying. So are people of Kenya children that they should be handled like kids, that they should not be given information? So the fact that they don't come out to give people the right information, facts about what is going on, to me, I say that is a failure to a greater extent. And I tell people, don't keep quiet in the face of evil. Talk about it. I feel so bad, Leo, because having stayed away from Kenya, and see how governance is done, especially here, though sometimes you will see signs of political interference or all that, it is not too much. And that is why in this country, everybody fears the law, because people are equal on the face of law. If it was Kenya, you see the things the former president Trump is going to do, it cannot happen in our country. You can imagine if that was Uhuru being taken through the process and penalized billions of money. That cannot happen in our country. But under normal circumstance, it is supposed to be that everybody is equal before the law. Is that the case in our country? Politicians, they don't fear any law. After all, you're going to bribe judges. After all, the president is on your side.
But we're forgetting that the politicians are the ones who make laws.
You know, Leo, let me tell you something interesting. Mburu, do you know in this country, when you are sentenced by a judge, like Geoffrey Mburu, you are now sentenced to 10 years or 20 years in prison. You'll begin your sentence in today we are in May. You'll begin your sentence in January 13th at this particular time on this county jail or wherever you are being sentenced. Do you know unajipeleka huko?
Yeah.
You go home, you do whatever you are doing, unafanya biashara zako, but siku ile ya kuenda kufungwa, you drive yourself to with your family, waambia kwa heri, mimi sasa naanza kifungo changu. Can that happen in any African country? I mean,
they will run away. People will run away.
So you can imagine that extreme. That is
civilization.
Eh?
It is high level of civilization because people know
discipline. So
that,
tukifika
you know why? Do you know why that happens, Mzalendo? It is because even if you run away, one day you want to come back home, and even if you come back at the age of 99 years, they will still arrest you and take you to jail to start serving your jail term. You have seen people who escaped sentence many years ago. At the end of the day, you find that after 30 years, that person is arrested and taken to the prison. But what about Kenya? Kina Sonko wanasema nilipotea. They say I ran away from jail. And they talk about it in the media.
Wewe unasema nini bwana? I watch in some of these YouTube platforms how wafungwa somebody saying, you know, that mi nilikuwa naiba, and I used to use firearms tuliziiba mahali fulani, and at one point we raped a woman until she died and all that. He's saying that on national on TV on a YouTube
Yeah,
channel
they will talk about it.
confessing what they have done out there, and they were jailed for a different thing altogether. That's a role that alone is criminal. They can be another
Try
case can
that.
just be
Try that in
immediately
America. By the time you're ending the
the
TV
show
show, they're gonna be with you.
eh?
In Kenya, those people who do such confession
So,
are treated
what
as
I'm
zeros,
saying, Leo,
and they're the ones who are preaching.
what I'm
And
saying, Leo,
look at Joffrey. Kenya is rotten. Look at Pastor going into TikTok and saying whatever they have to say. And these are supposed to be moral people guiding society. Yeah, wamekuwa tena ndio hao ndio. I don't know what country we are in. I don't know tuko nchi gani.
we have never had government. I have been watching how we have been prosecuting matters in our country, and I feel sick. Not until we start fearing the law, all of us, and subject ourselves.
I think William Ruto, the president, is still excited. He's still excited about this presidency, and he doesn't really want to send people home. He thinks that this is my family. This is how the president is thinking. This is my family. This
What
is
family?
the people.
These are the people who bring him down.
These are the people who brought me to power. When they are being frustrated, I feel bad about it. I mean, really, you are supposed to provide services to the people of Kenya, and it is high time you provide those services to the people of Kenya. Otherwise, in 2027, it might not be very easy. The tax issue is here. The taxes that this government is each and every day, I see it on social media. I don't know whether those things are true, but I believe that they are true. Each and every day, taxes are being increased. Yeah, if there is one thing that is going to bring Ruto's government down, is the issue of taxes. The high taxation in this country, in Kenya, will bring the government of President William Ruto down. And I'm telling you for free.
You see, Mr. Mzalendo,
To ask Black, do you think that Kenyans have reached a point whereby when people vote, they look at taxation and such kind of things? Because it's true, we are having a finance bill 2024, which it's yet to be tabled in parliament. And based on precedents, what people saw happening during the Finance Act 2023, it's likely that these things are going to pass. For example, things like bread are going to, and even those people who own cars, people are going to pay some annual fee of about 2.5% of the value of your car and such kind of things. Do you think these things are going to determine how people vote, or if you are voting, it will be a different thing?
You see what Ruto is doing. Ruto is a darling of the U.S. system. He is a darling of the U.S. system. That's why some of these things, like the taxes that is bringing, but they are not crafted properly with what the Americans have. They have on emissions and all this on inspection stickers. Cars should have that as a way of raising revenue to the government, but they are doing it in the wrong way. They're doing it in the wrong way. Perhaps they need to live in the system so that they know how these people are doing it. So when you come to vehicle taxation, vehicles are registered in each and every state that the owner is living. So, for example, in Kenya, vehicles that ply in Nairobi would be registered under the county government of Nairobi. That is revenue to Nairobi government. When it comes to the issues of emission, the county government of Nairobi are the ones who are going to collect these taxes on emission and in inspection. But you see, we have not reached that kind of organized way of collecting taxes as Kenyans. Let us first try and streamline the services that we have, so that we can now expand the tax base. You know, you are expanding the tax base, yet you don't have clean water in each and every village in Kenya. You are expanding the tax base, yet you don't have accessible artery roads in each and every part of the country. So when you expand the tax base, it means that you have done almost everything, and people can see, hey, this government of William Ruto is indeed doing some good work. You are the taxes that I have increased on alcohol, or the taxes that have increased on your paraffin, or on any other commodity that people are consuming, they can see. And you know, when you are paying taxes, then there should be a tax refund.
They
You
should be
will
value,
never
yeah.
hear of KRA talking about the refunds that they are going to give Leo, because Leo has been paying
I
taxes.
see it in developed countries. People get refunds every year, but in Kenya, I
Yes,
don't think you can even claim it.
you get refunds are gotten, but the refunds that people get, the rich, the people, the Mainawanjigis and the rich people, they get the tax refund, not you.
Okay.
Not you, common man. People ought to get tax refund. People in the civil service get a tax. They ought to get a tax refund of a substantial amount that the government has traded with their money, because that money is your money that the government is taking and trading with it. They need to give you back that money. That is how good governments work. They take your money, they trade with it, whether they are going to put it on offshore account to trade with it and multiply. That is not your problem. At the end of the day, when you're filing your taxes, you need to get the refund. The refund comes as interest earned by the money taken by the government. But does this government operate like that? I think they're too, I don't know.
They don't
Maybe
do
somebody
that. They
can
don't
help.
do that.
Then
I've never heard of
on
people
that tax
getting
issue,
tax refunds. Yet we see
on
Kenyans are paying tax each and every time, and the government is trading with it, but we don't get anything back.
Maybe economists like Black can tell us what is happening
on
there.
that tax
Yeah.
on that tax issue, on that tax issue, I may not have read that budget proposal, but from the items which I saw or the products that I saw the prices being increased, or mostly not for the poor, in my view, they are mostly targeting the middle income and the high income earners. Because when you look at bread, watu wenye wanakulanga bread ni watu kama sisi na watu wa juu. You would not expect mtu wa chini awe anaendaga kununua mkate kunywa nao chai kila siku.
We
I
watu
don't
wa
expect
gani?
that.
Watu wa chini wakulagi
These people
mkate?
take bread, Black. I'm
Wewe
not getting
unasema
you.
nini wewe bwana?
I think
Watu wa
every
chini
family
Family
wanakulaga
has
Kenya
Tunaongea
nini?
buys
ukweli,
bread, Shane. Then Mwanga.
tunaambiana ukweli, tunaambiana
No.
ukweli. Sikiza.
Sema huko
There's
ushago.
no way someone
in
Sema huko
Nairobi.
ushago
Every
wewe
family,
ukulagi
sema,
mkate,
every
tunaambiana
but
family is
ukweli. Kama
consuming
mtu,
bread.
do you know, let me calculate for you how much it is to buy bread every day for a month. We have 30 days. Bread when I last left home was around 65, or is it 70? How much is it, Leo?
Bread
When I came
is
for vacation
70, 80,
some time
75
back,
to
ile
80
time
right now.
Mzalendo nilipokuwa Kenya.
hati bread ni
Yes,
pesa
so you
ngapi?
can imagine now, do 70.
75 shillings up to 80 shillings.
When I was in Kenya, it was 70. When I was last in Kenya, it was around 70. I don't know, it was 65, 70. Now, if you do
So right now,
70
if you
shillings,
need
that's
bread and
one bread.
milk,
Na
you need
itoshangi, by the way, hiyo
150.
mkate.
What kind of
So you
bread is
must
that?
buy
Which kind
na hiyo
bread
mkate,
ati ni bread unasikia ni
na hiyo mkate
70
moja
shillings, 80 shillings. Karibu inafika so. And that is the
It's
cheapest.
This is
80
the normal
shillings.
size, small bread.
Right now, to buy a
Skiza,
loaf of bread,
Skiza,
400 grams,
na hiyo mkate
and
moja.
a packet of milk, 500 grams, you need 150. You've not bought maybe some coffee or some sugar. That is bread and milk,
And butter.
150.
Hey,
Hiyo mkate, na hiyo mkate moja hiyo mkate mmoja mtu mwenye
mkate
We have
moja,
lost Mr.
we have
Blake
lost
and Mr.
jamaa
Moja.
wa-
You will come
mhm,
and continue from there. Mr. Leo, there is
jamaa
something I wanted to say
mhm.
Yeah.
that sometimes in Kenya, mostly, without talking about other African countries that behave the same, when I look at how we do things, I wonder who bewitched us? Who bewitched us? Because it's like we don't have the brain of our own to think on our own without external influence. We borrow so many things from outside, from developed countries. And sometimes we want to compete or do things like them. Especially we copy so many things from America, forgetting that Kenya is not America.
Yeah.
We can think on ourselves and tailor everything we do basing on who we are, basing on our economy. Because when we borrow everything from outside, we are likely to miss it. We are likely to treat our people how they are not supposed to be treated, or even make them carry burdens that they cannot handle. Leo, apart from these taxes, of which I believe so many of those things have been borrowed from America or from outside, you saw what happened with the constitution that we have currently. So many things we are just copy and paste. So many things. Instead of saying from the scratch we are building or we are going to tailor our dress, basing on our body, basing on our size. So we wrote something that we borrowed so many clauses from outside, clauses that don't fit our nation, don't fit our economy, don't even say who we are. And that is why we are where we are. So my proposal would be, because our businesses are not doing very well, the first thing the government would have done, and President Ruto, when he was campaigning, he was in the right mind. I don't know what happened after he captured the power. I don't know. Because when we were campaigning,
Power corrupts.
he was talking of expanding the tax base so that we may have many people paying taxes rather than having few people who are paying more taxes. You see? So things should not happen drastically. Things are supposed to happen gradually. Paying taxes is okay, but how do we reach where we are going? It should start by support businesses, support those people who don't have jobs to get jobs, support small businesses through the right laws and working conditions. Then when people now start making money, you gradually, as the businesses are growing, you gradually add those taxes. Small amount, slowly by slowly. Now the problem is we want to build everything today. We want to tax people today and do everything that we want to do today. That is a big problem. So I want the president to remember whatever he told the people of Kenya. What he was telling people, that he was going to expand the tax base. He was going to support the mama bogas so that they can be able to sell their boga, and so that they can pay taxes when they are able to do their businesses. People should have affordable loans. When you are able to afford that loan, you are able to expand your business, and therefore, when you are taxed, you won't feel the pinch. But what is happening? Today we have so many taxes. Okay. The other thing, are we seeing the value? Because, for instance, people think America, let me tell you, I have never seen a country that is taxed like America. We are highly taxed. Every side, taxes. We are totally squeezed. But Leo, we enjoy the roads. Since I came here, at no time can I remember when we went through blackout that there is no power in the house. I have never witnessed. And if it happens, unless there is a natural disaster, that has caused something to happen. And you are told even the time that they are going to fix it. Within what time you have power. So what I'm saying, improve the services that people get when you tax them. Ensure that people get the value of their money. But if all what we are hearing is that people are stealing the money, people are stealing the money that people have been taxed for, then that is very unfortunate. So all these things
But
we have
Leo, there's something you're saying. In your end, you people pay taxes, but you don't complain because you get the value for your tax. The government is responsible to play their role of ensuring you have good roads, the hospitals are equipped, the schools are there, you don't need to pay fee and such kind of things. Insurance is working. When you grow old, the government takes care of you. Like, you don't need to invest in your kids to come and take care of your old age. But back in Kenya, do you know that last week even the Senate had to adjourn because there was no electricity? That is the Senate. They adjourned the city because there was power blackout. So what of a common mwananchi who stays in Dandora?
Rio, are we in studio?
Yes, we're in studio.
I don't see myself in studio. Anyway, what was the question?
Zalenda has taken you.
No,
what was the question?
The layout. I mean, Leo, the layout. I think somebody.
You are not. Are you the one who is touching the layout, Akelebe?
No, I think yeah, you're the one touching. It's not me. You know, I'm using my phone today, so I'm so
Maybe
scared.
you
I
touch it from
might
the
even
phone
press what
and
Mburu presses all the time.
Absolutely, Mr. Leo. We should see the value for the taxes that people pay. We should not be taxing people, but when you go on the roads, there are potholes that destroy your car. We should not pay taxes, and when you go to the hospitals, you are told there are no this and that, you know? And when the government acts responsibly, even when people are taxed, they don't complain as much. They don't complain as much. So the government should always ensure that people get value for the money that they pay. Rio, you won't feel bad if you are taxed, but when you are going home, or you go home and find even the way the road to your house has been tarmacked. You say, oh, yes. I can see where my money went. So that is what I'm saying. Yes, we supported the government, but that does not stop us from saying we want to see good services being offered to us, because it's like you have hired someone. After you have hired that person, you have to keep on reminding that person, this is my expectation. And sometimes when we talk and we seem to talk against what people expect, think that, oh, we are not supporting the government. No, we are the employer. And the employer must always remind the employee, this is what you are supposed to do. Otherwise, if they act contrary to us, the employers, we will also turn against them and tell them. There is a question that I don't know whether it was Mzalendo or Rio asked about that whether people in when it comes to voting, whether they think of services or
whether they vote based on maybe the policies ama watu watapiga tu kura tu.
I wanted to answer that question with a kind of a question. Well, have you ever roasted meat, Leo? Have you ever roasted like goat meat or beef, maybe for your friends? Yes. So when you are roasting meat and the fire becomes too much, what happens when you have put the meat on top of the fire and the fire becomes too much? What happens?
You sprinkle some water.
You sprinkle.
This guy has never wrote. This
so
guy
that
is
it
a
doesn't
fish.
burn because if you
He's
don't
from the lake.
don't cool it, then
He doesn't know how to kuchoma
it will
nyama.
burn.
It burns.
Let me hear. Mzalendo, when unachoma nyama na moto imekuwa nyingi sana na nyama yako iko pale juu, unafanya nini?
Unapunguza moto ama unaipandisha juu, kama kuko na ile jiko ya kupanda.
Yeah, unaondoa nyama. Unaondoa nyama kwa moto kwanza, upunguze nini? Moto. So that is the same way. We have given meat to this government, lakini wakiwaka sana ni nini ita happen? And remember, and I'm happy because there are signs that Mzee is like he is not going to AU. You can start seeing the signs.
Oh, he's not going. I've not followed that.
I am seeing signs like it's like he is getting disinterested. But I'm saying this, that if there is a government that should be afraid, is the government of William Samoei Ruto, because the distance or the difference between them and the opposition was very minimal. And therefore, if Kenyans feel dissatisfied with them, they will be kicked out. They will be kicked out because the opposition is there and very strong. So as an advice from a supporter, that every action that they take, they should be very calculative and very careful if at all they are going to sustain their credibility or their support base.
Yeah, that is very, very true. And
there's something that Mark is trying to tell us here, Mzalendo, that bread is consumed by I don't know, high income people, maybe people middle class or such kind, trying to say that, like when you have to buy bread at 70 shillings per day, and I know there are people who are having some big or large families that they'll have to buy 2 or 3.
I want to answer Black.
The price of bread is
there are times, Leo, even it has happened to you. There are times you calculate your expenditure per month. It is surpassing your income. Your expenditure surpasses your income. Has it ever happened to you, and you wonder where this bread is coming from? Each and every day you are eating bread, but you don't know where it's coming from every day. The thing is, Kenyans work very, very hard. Kenyans are not people who are very, very lazy. People work hard, and if you are an adult and you feel like you need not to eat bread, then you have children who will definitely want to eat that particular bread. Depending on where you are. If you live in the village, like Black lives in the village, you will not be expected to eat bread all the time. So he's wondering, who are these Kenyans who eat bread? Kenyans in the city, in the slums, they eat bread. And if they miss bread, they have got alternatives of bread. They have got alternatives of bread. Kuna ile inaitwa ngumu, kuna kachapati kanacheza cheza pale kwa slum, unapata mtu amepika mandazi. They will always find an alternative in the backyard to supplement the bread. So there are people who don't eat bread, that is a fact, but there is always an alternative for bread. Yeah, I can see Ellie is very excited on the other end. But I say, we need to think of policy-oriented leaders, people who can take us to the next level. What I see in the opposition right now is just a replica of the government. Even if they got power, there'll be another bunch of sycophants supporting them on the bad policies that they have. I am yet to see a leader like Maraga coming up and Kenyans rallying their energy behind a straightforward man, somebody who is not out there to acquire wealth or to accumulate wealth to come into power. Mburu, the sad part of our country is that most of these leaders have acquired so much that you wonder, when is enough? When is enough of this wealth? When are you just going to say okay, mi nimeshapata ardhi ya kutosha, nimeshapata maploti za kutosha, sasa wacha nifanyie wananchi kazi. You go to the opposition stables, minority, you find the same scenario. They are eating in the counties, wanakula, wanaiba, kuiba, yet there is nothing being done on the other end. That's why nasema, before you talk about somebody's yard, clean up your yard first before you talk about somebody's yard. The national government is doing so poorly right now, but at the same time, there are county devolved governments that belong to the opposition. We need to see them doing so well as an alternative government. But what are they doing? They are another bunch of thieves devolved in the county. That
You
is
see,
the sad scenario.
and some of these people who steal from us, they are very old. They are very old, such that they won't even have finished to enjoy their money before they goes to the other journey of meeting their maker. To me, that is lack of wisdom. It's lack of wisdom. Because, Leo, why should you deny other people to get the best services because you have stolen their money? You
But
have
Mburu, kuona Oparanya ameongeza bibi, we ataenda lakini bibi atabaki na mali.
You have denied people medical services. You have denied people good roads because you have kept their money in their account, or you have bought your own properties. And you know what the Bible says? If you are to read that's why I say they lack wisdom. If you read the Bible in the book of Psalm 90 verse 12, it says that, so teach us to number our days. These people, they don't number their days. They don't do the calculation. I am 70, or I am 60, or I am 80. What am I doing? What will be the legacy when I go? So the Bible says that, so teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. 12 says, so teach us to number our days, that we may get a heart of wisdom. Teach us to realize the brevity of life, so that we may grow in wisdom. I don't see any wisdom that, for instance, like Mzee Kenyatta, I don't see the wisdom he applied by acquiring all what he acquired. Where is he today? There is no wisdom. Because I'm just using that as an example, because we have other small Kenyattas. All what they think when they go to power is about me and my family, not the country. What do they lack?
That is true.
They lack wisdom. They lack wisdom. Because we would be thinking on how we can build our country evenly, so that anybody who will be born in that country can enjoy the work that was done by the forefathers. Some of these don't even deserve to be called the founders of the nation. Because, Leo, we should be asking ourselves, 61 years since independence. I was watching the floods, the scenario, the floods. Some of this, I was ashamed that the workplace, they decided, someone asked me, Geoffrey, where do you come from? I said, I come from Kenya. They said, let's touch Kenya. And there were so many people. And so the pictures that came are those pictures of floods in the slums and, very awkward. And, they were telling me, oh my God, we thank God that you came to America. I mean, why? Because only few parts of Kenya looks very good, but other parts look poverty, total. What are these leaders doing to improve the face of our country? Yes, we advertise so much about tourism and all that. How do they feel when they come or visit a country like America, where this nation has grown evenly? Everywhere you go, you find good roads, you find water, you find medical services. everywhere you go. I mean, and these people, they are able to number their days, Leo. I'm telling you the truth. They are not so much motivated by, if I become a leader, I want to accumulate for myself. Mzungu Leo anaweza kuridhisha mali yake na hakujui. That's how they take life.
Get you.
What about
Get
us? What about us? We steal everything from our country, so we don't even get time to sit down.
No, we are greedy. Some of us want to marshal enough wealth for their next generations. Mzalendo anataka atafutie mtoto wake mjukuu. So I don't know what the watoto and wajukuu will be doing.
Leo, skia, wacha nikupatie story ya leo tu. We were having some discussion with some colleagues. So these are all the people who work under me. So nasema, one is about 75 years, and the other lady, she's maybe 70 plus going there. But you know, the funny thing is that in this country, these guys have retired from employment like twice. This is their third job. So wanakula pension mali kama mbili. Na hii ni kazi yao ya mwisho. Now what we were debating is that kids of nowadays, do you think my children are going to take care of me? You know, one of them is saying, of all my children that I have only one daughter who I think will take care of me, because when I had cancer, she drove all the way to come and see me, and part of my wealth I will give it to her. But the one who is 20 minutes away, when I was in hospital, I asked her, you know, whether she'll be coming around. Then she told me she cannot make it, or how will I be surviving? She did not offer me even a place to live in. Now, in the African context, the way we are, we educate our children
to take care of ourselves.
To take care of us, to take care of us at some point. But in the American context, the children only take care of their parents depending on whether they like it or not. You should
it's
be
not
able,
an obligation.
You should be. What the Bible says is that you should be able to make enough money so that you leave your children an inheritance. But here we don't even have enough money for ourselves to leave for any of our children some inheritance. So we are, even if we borrow whatever these Americans are doing or what they're doing, these guys are far much ahead of us in terms of, you know, organization, in terms of so many things. So we need to focus where we are as a country and look at the kind of brain that can help the country. But right now, Mburu, I am honest to tell you that the political class, these guys are too political. The political group is too political. The ones who are waiting to get into power, they are waiting to revenge on the times that they were not in power. The ones that are in power are also trying to accumulate wealth and compete with those who have been in power before with the kind of riches that they have. We don't have servant leaders in government right now. When you see the appointments that William Ruto did, I am wondering, the list, there was nobody who is saying that they are not millionaires. Everybody who was appointed in that cabinet is a millionaire. Is a millionaire. So we are dealing with a bunch of millionaires who don't even know the plight of the poor.
Rumors had it that those people you're saying were millionaires. Some of them did not have the exact, that wasn't their net worth, but they were doing so knowing that at the end of their term, people will ask them, when you joined, you had only 2 million. How comes you are having like 50 million and this is what you are being paid? So somebody was trying to say that there is a possibility that they hiked and over quoted their net worth so that you don't ask them questions how they acquire this money later.
You see, like
But,
Magoa, look at somebody like Magoa. Magoa said his net is worth how much? Can you Google and find out the late Magoa? That was a servant leader. And these guys, they don't have any business that they do. Hakuna ile biashara au ufanya ati they have got industries, they have got a factory up there. They are like a Peter Kenneth who was running an insurance company of his own or buildings up hapa manapale. These guys were picked from somewhere and they have got no business that they do, but they are billionaires.
But now, Mr. Mzalendo, the most sad part of it is that these are millionaires leading people who cannot afford food for their stomach. What pride is there? How can you be comfortable that I'm a leader of people who cannot afford to feed themselves?
There's a lot of
That is why, sometimes truth hurts a lot. That is why President Trump referred to us in the most awkward way. And he said those shithole countries, people who cannot feed their people.
Putin said that Africa is a burial site. Then I'm seeing African leaders excited about Putin, and I'm saying,
No, you see, these are people who are telling us the truth because we don't have vision. And where there is no vision, people perish. We only live today. We don't think about tomorrow. So we invest for today. We don't think about tomorrow. We don't think of our children. So we came to this earth and found nothing, totally nothing. Mzalendo, you found nothing in your life. So you started from nowhere. No foundation.
My governor launches a factory and says sensationally that we are opening an avocado oil refinery factory in Homa Bay. Yet there are no avocado farmers in my county. Hakuna hata avocado, hata miti zile ziko Homa Bay za avocado hata ziwezi pita 500.
Mzalendo, can I talk of something that amazed me? I told you on Saturday I was attending a graduation at the Missouri University, Columbia, and there were so many people who were graduating. What shocked me, or what was so amazing, was that at a point, those students who had jobs were told to start up. That among all of you, anybody who already has a job, start up. I can tell you only a quarter of those students were not having a job. Yet they had not even graduated. That was the graduation day. I sent one of
Can that happen in Kenya?
Sorry?
You are saying that, Mburu, you don't have, your daughter is still young. Here in this country, 16 years old are employed. I mean, that is not a big deal. A 16-year-old is already employed. Somebody in high school is planning to buy a car. In high school, you go from one na anaingia anataka gari. Na si ati gari ananunuliwa na mzazi, ananunua na pesa yake na kazi ile anafanya na atakuwa akienda nayo shule.
Just imagine, instead of these people that we elect, instead of them focusing on how do we improve our economy so that we can provide jobs for the people who voted for us and the children who will come after, They just think on, oh, I have gotten this job, I am going to steal. It was so surprising that out of hundreds of students, only few of them, only few who had no jobs, even before they have graduated. Think of our country. Those people, 100% of them, they leave university without knowing where they're going or who will offer them jobs.
But Mburu, you left university and yet you could not create employment for anybody. You are waiting for the government to employ you. The education system in Kenya is bogus. There are so many universities, people graduating, yet there are no jobs.
But can I tell you,
and yet the mentality for them is that, you know, okay, the government is supposed to create opportunities for you. But again, when you are at the university, the education system should know that, you know, right now we are moving towards this direction. Whatever you are learning right now, whatever Kenya is learning right now, in most of those institutions, it will become obsolete. They will become irrelevant courses. Look at the Chinese. Look at the Chinese, what they are doing. China,
a lot of theories that we will never apply anyway.
Yeah, theory. Unafundishwa theory. Hata where you'll apply it, you'll apply that knowledge, maybe quarter of it somewhere. But most of the things that you are going to learn practically on the job. Practically on the job.
And but now, Mr. Rendo, you know, even I hear people, oh, you are educated, why are you not creating jobs? They think it's easy. You might be having an idea of what should be done, but without a foundation, without the capital to do what you want to do, especially in a country like Kenya, if you don't have a good rapport with the bank, you'll never get even a loan, even 50,000. To get 50,000 in our country is a big deal. Leo, can I tell you today here on my phone, if I want to get $10,000, I would apply here on the phone through apps, people whom I don't know, but they will trust that I'll pay. And I'll get that loan. So it is easier for me to borrow money and start something which will employ people. Where will a student in Kenya get 50 or 100,000 to start even a small business? So if a parent cannot afford, and the government has not provided an environment that after university, I can be employed in this and that company. Do you know our taxes are almost the highest, especially? It is very hard to start a business in Kenya. There are so many people who would like to start like companies, bring their companies to Kenya. But what is our tax regime? If you as a local person, if I want to import something from America to Kenya, the first thing I think, how much will I be charged to take this thing to Kenya? Is it worth, you know? So it becomes very hard even to import something from outside and bring it to Kenya. Even a machine that would help people. I mean, we need to rethink how we do things. Do we attract outsiders to come and invest in our country so that our people can get jobs? We don't. Instead, we prefer letting our people go out and work out there. That is why you saw Qatar when they were having football. Kenyans in Qatar turned up to go and support, not football, but I think it was athletics. Kenyans in Qatar went out to go and support their team. Oh my God, they were in thousands. I don't know, for me, I felt sad about that. We should do something. We should do something about that our people who are outside, the best brains, they're outside there, serving other people. But that does not concern the leaders that we have. The things they are supposed to focus on, they don't focus on that. They focus on, oh, how do I retain power for 10 years? How do I ensure that next time I'll be re-elected? So what they will do, watawapatia mayai ya kuku na vifaranga na kind of things. But the things that matter right now, Moses Kuria came with a very brilliant idea. Up to date, and Mzarendo, some noise coming from your side. Up to date, Mr. Leo, I feel very sad that the brilliant idea of Moses Kuria, because of political reasons, Moses Kuria was removed from the docket of trade. Yet, you can hold everything else constant, but the idea he came with of industrial parks, that was the best idea for the nation of Kenya, which everybody who is motivated by goodwill would have supported, because that is what we need. We needed those factories to come up as more as they were going to be started. We support them until those factories start now adding value to our products so that we can start selling finished products. What do we do today? Tunashika vitu zetu, tunauza zikiwa raw materials. Watu wengine wanaenda wanazitengeneza alafu zinarudi Kenya zikiwa guo, zingine zikiwa majani, coffee. I mean, sometimes I wonder, Mzarendo, what is wrong with us? Just think of the amount of
I have, I wanted you to look at this thing in a biblical way, and try and maybe the God created these African people to be just.
Hata usiseme hivyo mwana sasa. That's another angle. Ambayo me, I don't believe so. Me, I don't believe so.
You see, there are people in the Bible who are meant to be slaves.
So are we silly by nature?
Huwezi niambia mtu anapatiwa pesa za msaada ya kusaidia maskini alafu anakula hiyo pesa. Haya, mwingine anapatiwa pesa za hospitali ya kusaidia wagonjwa kwake, anaenda anajifungulia yeye hospitali yake. Haya, mwingine anapatiwa pesa ya barabara, anakula pesa ya barabara mpaka ya kuenda kwake.
Some of these
things niambie tu, niambie. Okay, na huyu ni mtu ameenda, huyu ni mtu ni profesa, mwingine ni wakili, ni watu wamesoma. Mwingine anakuja kama amelewa, anatuonyesha mimi wenyewe nilikuwa niko huku chini, lakini sasa hivi unaona vile nalewa lakini kazi nafanya. Do you think that in developed countries a legislator can appear drunk, amekunywa ati, and then we celebrate him all over social media, tunamcelebrate mpaka president anaenda anakuta, vice president anaenda kukutana na yeye, wanafanya nini? I mean, this society is sick. Mimi nakwambia, we are a sick society. Period.
Is there any medicine? Kuna dawa yenye tunaweza kunywa tu.
Wacheni tu tuiti na hizo ujinga zetu. Sisi ni wajinga, tulizaliwa sisi ni wajinga, na wawerevu ni kidogo. Wale wanaweza tengeneza vitu kidogo kidogo watatengeneza pale. You know why I say this, Mburu, and I say it with with a lot of sadness in me, is that look at the countries that got independence much later. People like Botswana, South Africa, apartheid. Look at Zimbabwe when the white man was still around, doing their own things and all that. Look at when they moved out, they left, and then we keep on saying that these people stole our resources. They stole everything that belonged. Look, the land that was left by the white man in Zimbabwe is untilted. The black man went akachukua hiyo shamba yote, about 1,000 acres. He does not know what to do with it. Amejenga kahat. He has built a small hut and akona mabibi watano.
Mzarendo, there was a time I was doing Uber when I was somehow new in this place. And one day I carried this white guy and we started talking of Africa. How is Africa economically, politically? And he told me he visits different parts of Africa, and he said, and I felt like crying. He said that Africa was better when it was being colonized. I wish Africa is still under British or America. You people would be living a better life than how you are today.
And you know, Mburu, that thing is coming.
I felt bad, but in my heart, I said I think he has a point. Because apart from now, the Uhuru Kenyatta Railway standard gauge, which also the price was highly inflated, apart from the railways we were using, were the colonial railways. Most of the roads we were using, they were colonial roads.
Yeah, the colonial roads.
I mean,
the general infrastructure.
Look at South Africa, which got independence the other day. Today, it is like the superpower of Africa. But does that mean that we are stupid? That we must be governed by other people for us to develop our own country? That's my big question. That I cannot say, if I become a leader, I am going to be selfless, do what I'm supposed to do, guide my nation, everybody to focus, want to obey the rule of law. Because that is the big problem we are having. In Kenya, big people, rich people, there is no law for them. That is why Rio today, if you make a mistake, you're going to spend a night in jail. But those people, they spend 2 nights when they have stolen billions. Then somebody has stolen 2 billions, but you'll be given a board of 100,000. Cash board. I mean,
Leo wants to enter the political arena, and you know what he's been telling me on the side, that you know, Mzalendo, I want to enter the arena in a chopper. Nikiingia pale kwa village, nimeingia na chopper, everybody, kila mtu atatii, unajua. So ukiingia na chopper, then it means that the villagers will embrace you, waone huyu jamaa amefika, ako na pesa na nini. Na kumbe huyu jamaa ndio mwizi ule mnampeleka kule kuiba pesa zenyu. Ni ile tu ameingia na style.
I normally look at how people campaign. I think tumeweka siasa yetu imekuwa ni you can't do without money. There is a certain gentleman, a gold scammer. I think he's been arrested more than even 3 times, and he's under investigation by the DCI, the ones who scam these foreigners. There's one, a young man, younger than me, in a place called Nyakach, called, I don't know, somebody, Kuja, Ankuda, something like that. This guy wants to become an MP. And whenever he goes home for these funerals, he gets there in choppers. He doesn't own any company, Mburu. Hajawahi kuwa employed anywhere. He's not employed anywhere. Nobody can even trace alisomea wapi and such kind of things. But these are the people that people are going to elect, because when he gets there in the chopper and everybody ceremony imesimama, ndio ule amekuja na power microphone, he can barely speak for 2 minutes because he doesn't have any content. He doesn't have anything to say. He will only mention Raila and tell people to line up, and I've given you this amount, and that is it.
Oh, you've seen this guy, this lender guy.
Yeah, I've seen him.
Now, those are the crop of leaders.
Like a bright Kenyan like Trevor Mbija, who is going to contest against him, will lose that elections.
No, Trevor might win. The reason why Trevor will win is simple. In Sia, Trevor will win because first, Trevor as associate. I've been watching the way he is interviewing politicians from Nyanza, and the way he has been scrutinizing. He's been working on his candidature right from the time he's in Citizen, trying to interview the opposite side and the government. So what Trevor only needs support from the sitting MP who is running for governor. I think the current Yeah, Aduma War is running for
Adoma who is
governor.
running for governor, and already he's now walking in the shadows of Adoma.
Yeah, so Trevor is walking in the shadows of Aduma. This other gentleman is just flossing. Is flossing. People will eat his money at the end of the day. But Trevor is also not very poor. He has got money. He has got money to splash around. Yeah, and you saw his entry. He wants the particular seat, but he knows very well that you must give up back to the society. The people that he wants to people who want to elect him, the voters need to get something. So he comes with the mattresses, he comes with unga and all that to show that, hey, me, I will represent you in this particular manner. Others are building houses and all that, running up and down, building houses for women in the village. But you see, everybody is posing to steal money, including Trevor Ombija and everybody else. They know that these are the most lucrative jobs around. It is more that he will be earning more than what he earns in Citizen. But again, that is where the problem is, where Leo has got very good policies, but he cannot be elected because Leo does not have a VX, or Leo does not have the kind of money that
He
the
will not
villagers
come with a
down.
chopper.
He
Do you
might
know,
not come with
Mzarendo,
a chopper.
the kind of campaign that is carried in Kenya is so expensive than even what happens in US. Politics in Kenya is everything. Those people, they come with choppers. Do you know how much is it to rent a chopper for a whole day? A chopper, and they don't just rent for one day.
No, a whole day could be even 500,000, even 400,000, because an hour,
Very
2
expensive.
hours is 200,000.
So, what logic is there that my salary will be 1 million per month, but I have spent 100 million to become a member of parliament? Who will compensate me? Who will pay me my money?
Because that job comes with the money.
It comes with stealing.
Hmm?
It comes with theft of public money. It comes with corruption. And that is why I pray, and Kenyans should now start praying, that we might have a very controversial leader, a leader who will not care about how many terms, a leader who will come just, even if he does not develop Kenya, just to put Kenya in the right perspective. Focus on all the ills that have happened since independence. And when I say this, I am looked at like a person who is very controversial and who doesn't know what I'm saying. The reason why we have always been electing this, it is because this foundation was laid from the time of Kenyatta. But we have always followed that precedence until now. The controversial leader whom I'm talking of, the one who will save Kenya, is the one who will say, thieves will not continue to lead the nation of Kenya. Who are thieves? These are people who have accumulated wealth at the expense of common mwananchi. The people who have been in leadership, whether they died or not, but that their wealth was inherited by their children. Can we have an audit since 1963, when we got independence, for all the politicians, starting with the senior family? Leo, if somebody is having over 500,000 acres, can we know, you as the first president of Kenya, how much money were you being paid for you to afford all this wealth? If we are to calculate your salary, and we even add the current value of Kenyan shilling, how much wealth are you supposed to be having? That is what with the family.
Mburu, I say, I mean, let us just have a clause in the constitution saying you can only own a maximum of 50 acres. Period.
We can say that, Mzarendo. But do you know what these people will do? They will sell all their land. bring their money to America, to Spain, to UK, to Australia. That is our money.
You say the government will take and develop
What I'm
that land
saying
for
is,
agriculture.
what I am saying is, the government should have a mechanism. Those people who ruled in the past government, we know very well they were not having money. They were not wealthy. And the records are there. After that, how many acres were they having? They trace, they see in books. They return everything that was stolen from the Kenyan people.
I see. Good
Do
year
you
is
know why
also
I'm saying
telling
that?
us
It
the
might,
compensation.
Leo, listen to me. It might sound extreme, but we have a nation of very high inequality. Because we cannot be having few people, few politicians, simply because they got a chance of being politicians, they are extremely rich. And Leo, you are expecting to go and compete with them to become a leader. It is impossible. I'm telling you, it is impossible. Do you know why even the current president, do you know why he was even attempted? Because I hear people calling him thief. He had to steal to be able to compete with people like Kenyatta, with people. I don't want to mention names because I don't want to sound biased. But I want to say this. Leo, you have an ambition of becoming a president of Kenya. You are put on the same platform with the son of Uhuru Kenyatta, Jomo. Are you not disadvantaged?
No, that is a disadvantage because already he is miles ahead of me. Based
What
on
are
our
the
political
probability
structure.
that you can become anything? It is very
So
hard.
there
It
is
is
some concern
very,
here.
very minimal.
Of course, there is a video I'll play for you here. I don't know what you're going to say on it.
Yes.
Then
Before you
after
put
that, Good is also saying that
that
Sophie
video,
Howe, the first future generations commissioner for Wales, was in KICC and Spice FM yesterday talking about the future leaders or youth, because politics is not easy in the West too. I think maybe we'll look into that one. If these challenges that we are facing, the leadership challenges are also experienced in the West. And Sophie Howe was talking to some youths on future leadership. And also, maybe after that video, after you've responded to the video, Zalendo, there's a question: what happened to the suggestion I put forward in Afrique 24 can open a charity or a safe place where we can try and contribute and help some of the flood victims instead of talking about it? We saw what happened the other day. The MP of Madare took an initiative and they launched what is called the Madare humanitarian aid, something like that, to ensure that they reach those people affected by floods. Goodia is saying that he also had a certain suggestion. So just instead of just talking about it, how can we maybe actively touch the people who are involved? I hope maybe we'll get some amicable way of responding to that.
Yeah, I think good year. I was on mute or what? Oh. Can you hear me?
Leo, are you able to hear me?
Leo. I can hear you, Mburu. I can hear you, Mburu. Mburu, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Mzalendo. Leo, I was saying, before you put that video, I just wanted to just talk about it a little bit so that people can understand what is going on there. I stayed in a traffic jam for almost 30 minutes. I didn't know what was happening until I decided, let me go out of the car to see why I have been blocked from going to the other road for all this time. And I went out of the car. Then I saw that the police were having, police of this area, they were having a function, a police function. My friend, the kind of cars, the kind of machines that those people are having, the kind of preparedness, the equipment, they were in another level. So when I started now thinking, This is just police. This is just police in one area. In one area. I started now thinking about our home. Ambulances. Those rescue vehicles and all that kind of things. When emergencies happen, how prepared are we? But our politicians, instead of thinking of how we can build a strong police force, a strong army, I mean, we just think of ourselves. So even before I started taking that video, hundreds of vehicles and machines had already passed. I just decided, can I now go and see what is going on down there? So I was able to capture some of the vehicles that these people within this area, the police drive, the machines that they have, the preparedness, my friend, it is unbelievable. Let just Kenyans see, when we talk of the police service, what are they supposed to have? How is it supposed to look like? That's just an example, because many of them had already passed. Yeah, Kaitre just put it.
Mburu.
You can now respond to Goodyear. Geoffrey Ruto is also saying that how do you compete with a person who comes from a family of 2 former presidents?
Leo, did you put that video? You didn't put that video. You didn't even go where I wanted people to see.
Put that video for Mburu.
Yeah. So Rio, those are police cars and machines. We are still sleeping. So when you ask for response, if you make a call, if you call 911, the kind of response you receive is unbelievable. There was a time I was carrying somebody and that guy was behaving like he was sick in my car, and I called 111, and I wondered whether they were responding to my call, because the kind of power that came there, it was unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So when you compare the developed world and the developing countries, especially Kenya, and we don't feel like we need to hurry up and to wake up and be somewhere. So when we say we have police, I wonder whether we know what we are talking about. I mean, as compared to where we are supposed to be. So we have a lot. We have a lot. It used to happen that sometimes you would call the police because maybe someone is breaking, you feel somebody is breaking your gate, and they'll come in the morning to ask you, oh, what was going on? What happened? I mean, or they tell you, can you send money for fuel? Hatuna pesa ya mafuta. We have a long way to go.
Asante sana Mburu, we have a long way to go. Mimi nakwambia hapa Marekani umewahi ona polisi amenona? Nakuuliza tu swali, nimekuwa nikiwatafuta wale polisi wamenona, ati polisi ako na kitambi kama mimi. Umewahi ona? Mburu, sema tu umewahi ona. Kuna vitu mbili nataka
I've never
kukuuliza.
concentrated on that.
Bas tafuta siku moja, ukiona upige picha uniletee. Uniletee tu nione, mimi sijawahi ona. Haya, umewahi ona kiwete huyu anatembea kwa magoti? This
No.
people wale cripples wale wanatembea kwa magoti.
No.
Umewahi ona?
No yet.
Ushajiuliza ni kwa nini uwaonagi?
Tell us.
Now this is the thing I asked, I was curious because in my country ukienda utapata kwa streets at least kakiwete kamoja kanatembea na magoti sijui nini, mwingine ameweka slippers kwa mkono. Do you know what the guy told me? What causes mtu kuwa kiwete na maumbile, they had sorted it out with medication. The vaccine that they are given, it's not that mtu utazaa mtoto ule kiwete. Wanaweza kuchange hiyo kabla mtoto azaliwe. Now, another thing is that even kama bahati mbaya amezaliwa hivyo, they can still correct that in surgery and in medication. Hebu niambie. Haya, if you go to the schools, ukienda mashule unapata, you see the way in Kenya ati kuna ati shule ya viwete, shule ya walemavu, sijui nani. Walemavu wanasoma katika shule ya msingi ya kawaida. You'll find them in Alliance High School. But their teachers are different. Their teachers are different. You'll find a school ikona students who are deaf, but they are in Alliance, but their teachers are different. Their teachers are different.
So they are not discriminated, eh?
They are not discriminated, and there are some classes they share with the normal kids. There are some classes utapata they are sharing, kama PE, sijui nini, they share those classes with the other normal kids. So they feel that they are not discriminated. Now, they are taken special care, and they are not called, they are called children of special needs. They have got special needs, meaning they are given more attention. The buses that they carry them are different from the buses that carry the normal children. But can you imagine in our country where the medication hakuna, watoto wanazaliwa hivyo hivyo? The other day, Leo, when I was doing my charity work at home, I decided to take some crutches and wheelchairs in the village. So the area chief was asking me, I'd done my statistics and known that there are some children who are living with disability in the area. So nikaleta hizo vitu kutoka hapa Marekani. So the area chief was asking me, hizi vitu zote umeleta, kwani kuna hao walemavu kwa hii nini, kwa hii ward? Nikawambia yue ngoja, see they are coming. Do you know the villagers did not even, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. Some of these children are hidden in the homes, wawezi tolewa mahali hata waende shule. Some of them walishikwa na hiyo ugonjwa waka drop out from high school wakawekwa nyumbani. You can imagine a kid ule was in high school maybe form 2 akakuwa mgonjwa, like sasa anaanza kutibiwa na dawa za kienyeji, ati amerogwa sijui nini nini.
What?
Then he was in high school and he cannot continue with school. Now there is a kid ule amefika age ya kuingia amefika age ya kuingia class 1, amefika mpaka umri wa 12 14 years, anaona his other siblings wanatoka shule na kitabu na nini, they cannot go to school. It is that painful, and we live in that kind of society. Your own brother anaona umetoka shule na nini, but since he's crippled and the schools are do not have facilities for crippled children, he cannot go to school. They don't have even a wheelchair to push him in to school. They don't even have a ramp ya kuingia kwa class. Yet we have leaders every time wanachukua microphone wanasema vile they are good leaders and good examples in society. Mimi nakwambia tumelaaniwa.
So ask yourself, how much money is stolen by politicians? And how many cars are there in our police stations to respond to the Kenyan needs? Unajua Kenya hata ukikuwa na shida, heri uvumilie na shida yako kuliko kuita polisi. Here we call them for almost everything. Nimepotea kia, I call 911.
Ati paka imepotea, paka sijui imekwama kwa ati sijui animal, some paka imekwama sijui mahali, unaita polisi na anakuja na firefighter kila kitu, they come with everything. But you see, now that is the kind of organizations these people are. They take life seriously, they take their citizens seriously, they take any emergency seriously. Like what you saw Mburu there, that is a whole county where you are staying, and those are vehicles that belong to the county in where you are living. That is just one county, and there are several counties. Hiyo ni county moja tu, hiyo si gari za states, hizo ni county. Hiyo ni county. There is a SWAT team, there is the sheriff and all that, and you know the sheriff in your county anapigiwa kura.
Yeah.
Kama anapigiwa kura kama rais ama nani anapigiwa kura.
Do you know, I looked at the machines that these people are having. Nikajiuliza, na kwetu utakuta a whole police station does not even, some of them don't even have one car.
Wewe unasema ati polisi hana gari. Polisi unaibiwa hivi.
Are there in Nairobi City County.
Polisi Kenya unaibiwa hivi, unaibiwa Mburu leo, unaibiwa, una report kwa police station, nimeibiwa, gari yangu imeivunjwa nini ikaibiwa. Okay, sawa, ubi namba nani, haya mzee tutashughulikia hiyo. The moment you step out of that police station hivi, hao ndio wanapigia hao hizi, wanaambia ni aje bwana, nimeona mmechukua mavitu, mtuletee yetu. Tuletee yetu. You saw a video of a policemen being.
I realized that these breakdown cars that we normally see in town, they belong to the traffic police officers that you see around there.
Hiyo unajua sahi leo. Yeah, hizo ni zao.
So what we need in the government of Kenya today is to lay a foundation, as I had my submission, because I think we have pushed for quite some time.
Oh yeah.
That if I'm given a chance today, I would not focus with so many things. I don't know, affordable housing. I don't know, I'm trying what. What I would focus on are those basic things that can lay a foundation for a nation that others can build on. And I wish President William Ruto, because you cannot do everything. And the nation will be there even when you will go in many years to come. But he can help us to build proper healthcare service, focus on hospitals and equipment. Number two, focus on education, focus on strong police service, focus on judiciary. Those 5 things. If we have good judiciary, education, good health, police service, and most probably roads, because they open they open places for businesses. Those are the basic things that we need to be able to move forward as a nation. But sometimes we don't focus on the basics. We start from the top, going down. And there is a lot of omission on how we do things. So we have talked many things, and I wish our leaders can start to care and become serious. We need to focus on the rule of law, whereby everybody will be equal before the law, which is not happening in Kenya. Politicians in Kenya, they don't fear being in the wrong side of the law, because at the end of the day, they will be saved. They know they will not face jail time. Also, the rich, they can treat the poor anyhow, because they know at the end of the day, they have connections. So the law has been left to discipline and punish the poor. If I get a chance of becoming president today, I would abandon almost everybody who is in prison in Kenya today, because most of the people who are languishing in prison are not the ones who are supposed to be there. They are only there because they don't have good connections. They are only there because they don't have power on their side, which is very, very unfortunate. So we need to apply the rule of law. We want to see governors being jailed for 10 years, 20 years. It's only that I can't say they need to be hanged, but we need to set up precedents. How many people do we want to hang? Or how many people can we hang so that people can hate corruption or fear corruption? Zaredo, in China, when you are corrupt, you die. In Kenya, when you are corrupt,
but in Kenya, when you are corrupt, you keep on being corrupt, so that you keep on protecting your corrupt deals.
In our country, when you are corrupt, we reward you with a powerful position. Very unfortunate. Kenya is a great country, but we are let down by ourselves and our leaders.
Get you.
Thank you.
Mzalendo, maybe as we wind up, there was a question from Goodia. I think you are responding to it before we played that video. Maybe if you can respond to it.
I think Goodia, that's a very, very good, very good idea. And we are working on it. I think before the end of this week, we should be having something up and running, so that we can tell our viewers to support. What we were looking at generally is a targeted approach. That's why we were really trying to look at a church that is already doing something or supporting this initiative, so that we know that our money, whatever we are collecting, is going to be targeted to particular individuals or particular victims, wherever they are. But we, as a Afrique family, we will decide on where the funds, Buru, everybody else who is here, we will decide where we are going to put our funds. But we need it targeted and to have an impact in society, because we cannot sit down and watch. The little that we give out, be rest assured that it will go for a good cause, and it will go to help a family out there. Remember that these flood victims, they had a home at one particular point, but now they are living out in the cold. Some of them were students. They needed to go back to school. Their books were swept away. There are small things that we can donate. We can donate not necessarily cash, but those who are able to donate items can donate items. But we need to be organized in such a way that we find a central place where we can take all these items, or we find a number that we can trust, that we can send money to, so that the victims in Kenya can get some kind of relief from the floods. So we are working on it. Good year. We hope that before the end of the week, we would have come up with something as an Afric family. So that's a good year, a good idea, a good year, and keep it up. So, yep, I hope I've attempted to answer a question.
I think, that's the best answer. And of course, we are also doing an advocacy on the matter. That is just creating awareness, which is also helping and letting those people who are able to help. Like the other day when Madare was launching theirs, at least we try to let people know on some of the organizations that are doing the same, so that we can be able to help Kenyans. And it's good that you've also mentioned schools are opening, and there are some of these people who are supposed to go to school, they are not able to go, and such kind of things. So maybe we'll get a closing remark from Amburu as we close it up. Of course, we've had some hours of conversing with the Kenyans and informing them of some of the most important things that they need to know.
Mr. Leo, I have said everything that was in my head.
Oh.
I have nothing to add. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Buru. Just to remind our viewers that I know most of them have already subscribed and have subscribed to Afrique, but right now you can go a step ahead and join and become a member. I know there are most people who are asking, how can we be able to support this program and ensure that the our program continues? Right now, you are able to join Afrique and become a member. So you not only subscribe, but you also become a member of Afrique. And I have to thank Goodyear for opening the page. Actually, he even became a member before he became a member of Afrique. So currently we are having one member. Afrique, I can say, belongs to Goodyear. That is good. I'm waiting for the rest. Black also said you're supposed to join. So I would encourage you to join and become a member of Afrique. Of course, we know people, there are different packs or different categories. You can become a regular member, VIP or a VVIP. So there are some advantage, there are more advantages of joining and becoming a member of Afrique, because when you join and become a member, you are likely to enjoy a lot of privileges that you cannot enjoy when you are not a member. For example, when you join this channel, I told you, as a regular, you'll be parting with like $1.45 per month. VIP is 2.5, while VVIP is $20 a month. So this one allows you to have a loyalty badge next to your name. That is why when you see the comment from Goodyear, it's different from other comments. Also allows you to have some custom emoji to use while you're making comments. Maybe you don't want to type too much. The emojis will be coming there to predict
No,
what you
Leo,
want to say.
yes, Leo, sorry to interrupt you, but there are also merchandises that are coming for Afrique. We have got
Yeah,
Afrique
actually, and
t-shirt,
they'll get them
we have
on
got
a
the
discounted
cups
when you
and
are a
all
member,
that.
actually. And sometime we also have
Thank
what
you
is
so
called
much.
members
And
only live chat.
I'll be the first customer for the merchandise. So please have a cup for me and a t-shirt.
Oh, that's great.
I know you and
And probably
Nakukunya
I'll buy
chai.
one. And probably I'll buy one for Leo.
No, you
Thank
buy
you.
10.
That's great.
Yes.
We can't wait for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just call upon you to join and become members, so that one day when history will be written, that Africa managed to change the conversation and change how politics is run and leadership is run in this country, you'll be considered as one of the people who contributed to that. So thank you so much. Goodyear is also already telling you so that you can join him. He's lonely there at the membership corner. So don't allow Goodyear to be alone there.
No, no.
So from this end, I just want to say thank you for taking your time and watching, and welcome you
So
to
what
Dr.
does
Shamba.
good
I wish
here
you to
want?
come in the next
I
6 hours.
see.
Yes.
Goodyear
I
wants
see.
you to join
Where?
subscribe
On
on Afrique. You
on
need to
Africa.
subscribe. Yeah.
Goodyear is already a
Leo,
member. I think you can see next to his name.
So
You can
I'll be
see.
paid if I subscribe. I'll be paid some money.
No,
Leo,
you are the one. If you
you will
become a
be
member,
helping
you'll be paying
the
paying
Afrique
you some
family.
money.
Yeah, but Rio was saying like if I become a member, I think I'll be getting some dollars.
No.
Is it true?
No,
Or what
if you
did you say?
become a member, you'll be paying some money, of course, per month, and there's some advantage. For example, we normally have live talk show here. There's something that you want to be discussed, and as we prepare for the show, if you are a member, your text will always reach whether we are live or we are not live. Anytime you feel like there's something itching you, you can just go there, type, and today we feel like we need to discuss this, and your message will be sent directly, just like sending a text message. I know there are so many people who watch us here. We don't have their contacts. They don't have our contacts. But in
So
YouTube,
the senior member,
unless you become a member, you
the
can be
senior
able to
member
get.
like me should be paying how much?
If you
20,
become a member, we are having 3 packs. The first one is $1.5. That is regular. I have
Per month.
$2.5. That is per month.
That is too little for me, man.
$2.5
That's too little for
per
me.
month for VIP. And if you want to
no.
become a VVIP, you only pay $20 per month. That is how
Now,
it is.
what you do, Mburu, since you are very philanthropic, pay for Leo, pay for a few of
Yeah.
our
Yes,
viewers monthly.
I can pay for several people so that we
Yeah.
can be members there and enjoy those services.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Rio,
Yeah.
Rio, you can choose for me like 5 staunch followers of Africa.
I'll get you.
Then I,
Actually,
Thank
then
you,
I pay
Mburu.
for them.
our show,
Yes,
each and every show, I'll be getting one person to so that you do it. We are going to have Dr. Shamba in the next 5 hours. I'll also get you one from Bed of Roses. I'll get you one from Dimba Afrique. And of course,
exactly.
I'll get you one from Newspaper Review. I think those are 5. That is what I'll do.
Great. Mhm.
Yeah. So from this end, I just want to say thank you so much for joining and also for subscribing. Without you, we cannot be able to give this kind of feed. So we really appreciate your support and encourage you to keep it here as we connect you with the African stories. So goodbye for now. Let us meet in our next program, and also to remind you that we are also having some frequent updates whereby we update you on the breaking news and the things that are making headline. So we not only have the live shows, but you can always check on our channel for the breaking news and the updates on what is happening across the world. So don't forget to keep on checking on the videos. You can also visit our podcast. Of course, I know so many people have not been visiting that. We don't just restrict yourself to live. Proceed to videos, go to podcast, and we're also having what is called YouTube community, whereby we also have some news in written form. So from this end, let me say thank you so much. Good morning to the ones who are going to work. Good night to the ones who are going to sleep, and a very good afternoon to those people who are going through their daily duties.